There we go. I was muted. That's better. Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome once again to Blaine's Escape Corner, our corner of the internet. We get together, we talk about the things that help us escape. Today, special day, different day. We don't do this too often. Today's a day we have a guest. We're gonna welcome Mark the Cyborg. Welcome.
Hello. How's it going?
Hello.
Audience. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I can turn myself around. Keep talking.
Oh, I'll keep talking. So I've got my Oni Kuroshi. Gonna pour myself a cup of sake here as we chat. And you get the honor of being my, I'm gonna call it 3.5 Canadian guest, third and a half.
Right.
Yeah, Angry Canadian doesn't count because he has American citizenship now. So
Wait, but was he born Canadian and then got American citizenship, or did he have dual citizenship from like when he was a kid?
I don't know. All I know is when I'm like, tell me about Canada, he's like, I'm not Canadian. I'm like, why is your name Angry Canadian then? It confuses
honestly, me. If it's just ironic, I actually find that kind of funny.
And he lives in Japan, so it gets even funnier.
Oh, wow. I mean, so we're often told a thing that, I mean, you're Canadian as well, right? Or
not even a little bit. I'm as American as they come.
But isn't it CT who we both know?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I remember she told me that she knew a content creator that I thought was in Toronto, which is why I really didn't. I was really kind of caught off guard when it was Pacific, because I was like, oh, okay. But like I was like, okay, maybe he's in BC or something. But yeah, no, if you're American though, then that's totally fine.
It better be. Don't make me come up there again.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's nice. Canada's not as bad as people say it is, I think.
I've enjoyed my trips. So compai, cheers to you.
Thank you.
You also get the privilege, I guess we'll say, of being the first guest where I know almost nothing about you. And I don't know if you know anything about me either. So this is gonna be really fun.
No. I was gonna just, like you said, you want to talk about video games and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good with talking about that. What game have you been playing?
Right now, well, I just beat AC6, so Armored Core 6.
Armored Core, okay, right on.
And then
all 3 playthroughs or just one?
Just one.
Yeah. So you've played as much of it as I have.
Yeah, it's enough.
I mean, I try not to ruin much, but
space ending where I killed Ares.
Okay.
And then it looked like the ending of Halo 3, basically.
Yeah, we might have got a similar one because I also did some killing of people that I kind of didn't want to die, and I was like, oh, I might have sided with the wrong people. But I do look forward to going back to it. I really enjoyed that game quite a lot.
Yeah, that one's a great one. No, the current game, as soon as I can get everything to work, is Moemon Heart Gold. So are you familiar with Moemon at all?
No.
Do you know what the term Moe means?
No.
Okay. Moe at its heart, at its core, it's an anime term that means sort of like cute things. Moe anime typically involves
cute monsters,
very chibi type things. Kind of. They're a little more monstrous this time, but they've taken and they've made all of the Pokemon into like female cosplayers. So you're playing Pokemon, but everyone you're catching is basically a female cosplayer.
Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty fun.
And it's great. And NH in chat turned us on to the Heart Gold edition. I beat the Fire Red one, but
what's the what's the presentation like? Is it like a Game Boy Color Pokemon game, or is it?
Yeah, it is the original game completely resprited. So all of the normal gameplay of Pokemon from what it's the first Pokemon I've ever beaten. When all the kids were trading Pokemon in the bathroom when I was in middle school, I didn't have a Game Boy. I was the poor kid. It was like, oh, that'll be fun someday. I'd like to do that. So this is the first time I've played Pokemon has been in this sexy form. So
I've never played a Pokemon game either. I always the reason I cite is often I think I was in 8th grade when Pokemon Red and Blue came out.
Yeah.
And I had already played Final Fantasy 4 and 6, which were 2 and 3 at the time on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Pokemon really, like, people were showing it to me. They're like, "Oh man, like this game's so much fun. You wouldn't believe it. Like you got these monsters, they got all these attacks. It's like turn-based combat, but you got to be really strategic." I was like, "Guys, like you guys were calling me a nerd for playing Final Fantasy 3 like a year ago."
And now everybody does it.
I was like,
Yeah.
"What the hell? What the hell is going on?" So to me, it always kind of. I know that my wife is a huge Pokemon fan. I hand stuffed a gigantic Snorlax for one of her birthdays, and it's
That's adorable.
it is one of our favorite places to play with our puppies. My dogs might make an appearance at some point.
Oh,
They
totally
often
fine
do.
with me.
They're free dogs though. They can go where they please. But
Gotcha.
but yeah,
They have no
often
chains.
when we get into the house, we run upstairs and we will hop on the Snorlax, and the puppies will run up and say hi to us. And it's nice.
That's adorable.
But I understand. I have nothing against Pokemon, but it
Yeah.
always seemed to me, or Pokemon fans, but it always seemed to me kind of like baby's first JRPG. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it
yeah,
feeds
like,
that collector need, I think.
yeah.
It is one of those games like after Banjo-Kazooie and you're like, I gotta collect more stuff, and then you play Pokemon, you're like, I gotta get more of this.
So
I also have a wife who is all about Pokemon, while I, again, have never played any of them fully through. So
yeah, I mean, like I don't know. It is one of those things that I think a lot of people who get into it get really into it, and I think it will often depend on your particular taste in games. Whether you do like that collector mentality of I just want to get a whole bunch of these, whether you like taking care of pets and then like seeing them evolve and stuff, or like people who want to play a game that is a JRPG, like a similar type of game that's more tactically complex in its combat and more narratively complex in its storytelling, and much less a collectathon. So I think it sort of serves two different types of players, and I think that they both should exist. I'm not saying that Pokemon games are bad. I think they're kind of just not for me. From everything I've seen of them, I was just like, yeah, I don't know that I've really ever had a vested interest in playing a Pokemon game. And I play a fair amount of Japanese style role playing games, man. So it's like, well, maybe there's a reason I don't, and maybe it's not because they're bad. It's just because
you get bored maybe by the because like the routes and the towns, it's like fairly straightforward as far as like where you go. Versus I can remember some of those older 8-bit games, 16-bit games where you're like, I don't know where the hell I'm gonna go, and you don't find out until you're on the playground and or nowadays, looking it up online. To really get deeper into the story.
About things like Simon's Quest and stuff like Castlevania 2.
Oh, yeah.
That was a game that it was basically a scam to sell Nintendo power. It was effectively impossible to beat if you weren't looking things up and finding things. You had to be like pixel perfect on a few things to find things.
Have you gone back and played the new? Somebody did a ROM hack of Simon's Quest, and it makes everything better. So they retranslated a bunch of the villagers to actually point you in the direction of those items, and then they also sped up a bunch of the text. I'm watching Pop Culture Mechanic play it right now, and it's like, wow, this is
it
miles better.
Is it an NES ROM hack only, or could you get it as like a mod for the Steam version of Castlevania Collection that they released?
It's a ROM hack only, as far as I'm aware. I'm not familiar if it's on the Steam version.
I mean, I'd play it as a ROM hack. It's just it would be neat if the one that has like scalable visuals. Like I mean, it still looks like an 8-bit game. It doesn't like when you say like HD visuals for like an 8-bit Castlevania game that's just a port. Really, it's not what you think. It still looks like a Nintendo game. But yeah, I think that would be cool to play because I never got into Castlevania 2 mostly for that reason. But I found things like Final Fantasy 6. If you play it now, you don't need to look anything up, because if there's always a next place to go, because the story is pretty linear. You can usually figure out where that is by talking to the members of your party at any point. And then there's like, anytime you go out to the world map, there's usually like 3 places you can go at any given time. It's going to be one of those 3. And they're not huge open worlds that you have to look through every nook and cranny of. It's usually like, well, it's a town. There's like 4 people to talk to. 2 of them are vendors and one of them's an innkeeper. Let's talk to the other guy. He doesn't know what we're supposed to be doing. okay, let's try one of the other towns, and then you find it.
Yeah, and they're also like back in the day, it was a little more limited too on the NPCs. So like it wasn't like you had to talk to 15 people that all just said, "Hi, have a nice day," like in
Yeah,
some more modern
most of
RPGs.
them, most you can't even talk to. Like they just they
Hmm.
make it so that you go to them and just you tap A or X or whatever controller you're using,
Yeah.
and it just nothing happens. It's like, okay, they're just not interactable NPCs. They're just there for atmosphere, I suppose. But I don't know. I think like Final Fantasy VI, I've played it recently and it still holds up quite well. It's a very very good game with a very good story.
Good.
Recommend
Good.
it.
All right, let's get into some different questions. Now we've got some of the trickle in here. Uh, who are you? What do you do? Let's start at the basics.
My name's Mark. I lost my right leg 6 years ago, so that's why I'm Mark the Cyborg. I actually do have a robot leg. Um, I make
Cool.
video games and I have video game videos and I stream video games and yeah, and I play on this couch with my two puppies. My wife is a YouTuber and streamer and producer for a bigger channel named X-Ray Girl. That's what she goes by online.
Okay.
And and yeah, I guess that's pretty much what I do here.
When
My
you say robo leg, do you mean like you've got powered functionality in your
I
leg?
do
Like
have one that does have a powered foot. Yeah,
what?
I've got a couple of them though.
Did you used to not have the powered foot and now you have the powered
Oh
foot?
yeah, yeah.
Was it
No,
like
the power foot's not even one of my priority ones. It's really great for walking around like a normal work day, but
mhm.
for the last about a year now, my leg hasn't been fitting super well, so I'm actually just down to one that I can actually use, and it's just a vacuum powered so not a battery, it's just like an air tube that there's a little suction valve that like keeps my leg on,
Yeah.
and as I step it pumps a little bit of air into the thing and helps me step forward a bit. But that's the one that's most flexible as far as like what I can do with it. So because I only have one socket that fits me and even it doesn't fit me particularly well, that's the one that I use. But I've got a prescription in to get a new one, and in mid-October I'm going to get fitted for it, and that's a new, different kind of retention system too. So I don't know.
Is
I
it
got
as
a bunch
is
of
it like backwards compatible? Like you'll get the new fitting and you can just stick that on the other legs?
So yeah, kind of, yeah. So once you get the leg fit, if that socket is fits very very well and you're comfortable with it and you can do a lot of things in it, I can get that socket duplicated and then be able to use all of my other legs. So I have a running leg, I have that powered leg that's good for just walking around work, and the a swimming leg too that has like a little articulating ankle so I can put on a fin if I need to, and like a waterproof enclosure.
Cool.
Cool.
I mean, it sucks to lose a leg, but it's kind of crazy how much tech there is in all of this. It just
Yeah,
kind of fascinates me.
I guess it gets less cool when you realize that if you just had a human leg, it would be able to do all of that stuff already, but
It
better.
does, yeah. It's like you're like, God, I wish I could just have a leg, but like the tech, just my brain just starts exploding with like this is
Yeah,
fascinating.
I mean, it's cool. I just finished. I even got a poster of not this. Oh, well, I mean, that's 2B from Near Automata. So she's an android, not really a cyborg. But these are the trauma team medics from Cyberpunk. And
Oh yeah.
my day job, or day job now, I guess. So my career for the last 10 years, 12 years, is I'm an army medic, a Canadian army medic, and I'm releasing from the military now because I've just decided that I'm kind of just sort of done
Done.
with being in the army. But I'm still very proud of my army service, and I still support the military, and I wish the best for all of my friends in the military.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but I'm kind of just looking to start doing more of this stuff, talking about things on the internet because I think I'm all right at it.
Yeah. I mean I listened to your the Metroid video you sent, a couple of the clips to kind of get a taste for what I was jumping into, because literally it was CT sending me a thing that was like, "Oh, it's like Mark with Cyberpunk. I keep joking that he needs to play it." And I was like, "How is he not play?" It was this whole thing. Apparently, you have played it, but it's
Well,
like a
I
meme
would
now.
no, because like so when Cyberpunk 2077 first came out, I was making videos for a channel called Geeks and Gamers. Have you ever heard of them?
Yes.
Okay, so I was like just making video game videos for them. I started out making video game videos about old Star Wars games, like LucasArts Star Wars games, but then they wanted to get me starting to cover like new release games and stuff, and so I was on that grind of like trying to play the big new releases and then get a video review out for them as quickly as I could, which I enjoyed doing and I think I was pretty good at, but I think I've just kind of grown a little bit of distaste for that format because I felt like I have to just play the game once and then formulate some quick thoughts and write it into something coherent. And often my arguments are good, but also very often they're not based in the amount of experience with the game that I would generally like to have if I was going to express assertive opinions on it. Like if I, because I mean, there is like the, hey, well, it's just your opinion, make the opinion video. I'm like, yeah, but also I like it when my opinion is based on solid observations.
Yeah, you don't want to release like a video that's like, oh, this part of the story was really shallow and I kind of hated it. And then you find out there was an entire like subworld that you missed, right?
Yeah.
You're
You'd be
"Dang
amazed
it,
how often that happens, and people
now
get.
I'm an idiot." Like,
Well, have you ever heard of the show EFAP? It's a
yeah,
podcast that Mahler runs. So I've been on that a bunch of times, and one of the probably the biggest or the most popular, I guess, episode that it was in was where we were responding to a YouTuber named Synthetic Man, and Synthetic Man was. He made a video about God of War being like a woke garbage video game, and Mahler kind of just went through his streams to sort of see how he formulated his opinion. And most of his observations, so like Mahler cut together this big video that like a 4.5 hour long video of just his stream clips that showed a lot of the times that he would say, yeah, they never explained this in the story, like this is so poorly written. And there'd be times that exposition's going on where he's learning those things and he's just like, yeah, this game's woke trash, man. It all sucks. I mean, like, it's just Freya's leading him around, like Kratos is getting totally cucked this entire game, and it's just like, oh man. And like you see the subtitles, it's like them explaining the lore and the where he said
completely removes it.
And it was very funny. By the end, it got kind of sad because there
just keeps going, and you're like, why?
There are a lot of people that were really because I mean, Synthetic Man is at least good at crafting a video that is fun enough to watch. I thought his reviews of the Halo TV show were pretty funny. They were a little on the edgy side, but like they weren't too bad. And I hadn't seen him really cover a video game in depth, and I definitely didn't watch any of his streams. But all the people that were being super good faith to him, everyone in the chat who was defending him, would be like, "No, this guy's good. He's a great YouTuber." And by the end of it, everyone's like, "Oh,
you can be good and have a bad day. It is like you're allowed."
I don't know, man. It's like it's one of those things that you're like, oh, the amount of work and thought that he puts into his stuff is just very, very minimal. And
just the littlest bit.
He's just playing through a game to sort of confirm opinions that he already has, and he'll see whatever he needs to see to do it. And we kind of just saw it happen in real time, like with, I guess, about maybe 20 hours or so worth of streams cut down to 4.5 hours. So yeah, it's not every moment of it that we went through, but it was enough to get an idea. And I recommend the EFAP episode. And I recommend against
all what 12 hours of it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that episode I think is 10.5 hours, or it might be 11. It was a long one, but it was a journey.
That's hilarious. So from there, then, how do you define woke?
I mean, I kind of, I don't really ever analyze media or games through the lens of woke or not woke. It was one of the reasons why I was maybe not the best fit for doing the new release game grind at Geeks and Gamers. Like, I always make a joke that I reviewed Spider-Man Miles Morales on PS5. Like when it first, the PS5 had first came out, I acquired one and played Miles Morales, and almost every single one of the comments, I mean, like every single one of the comments that was filtering to the top, at least of the top comments feed, would be something about, oh, but did you see that Black Lives Matter mural? Or what about how woke it was? Was it woke? And I'm just like, guys, like I don't I don't care really. Like if it's
Yeah.
working good, I'm fine with it. And I was like, yeah, I thought the Miles Morales game was pretty good. And I was like, well, I didn't
had fun with it. What do you want? Like,
I was like, I didn't find myself pulled out of it by politics at any point. And honestly, that's really the only time I care. So I kind of I don't ever like using the word woke unless I'm talking about the way someone else used it, because people use that all the time. It's hard to just be like, yeah, I'm never saying that word. But I don't really use it as a metric for how I criticize media. Now, I think that you could probably get a reasonable collection of the ideas that you would think of as being connected to the things that people consider woke, like LGBT themes, particularly things dealing with I don't know, like feminism or men in particular being demonized is something that people often say, yeah, or will connect to it. And whatever your definition is and whatever you think about it, I kind of just think ultimately it doesn't matter unless it seems like it wasn't a story written by writers who wanted to tell a good story. It's a bad story written by activists who wanted to talk about their message. And I think that you can see when that happens because it's bad writing. Yeah. And it's like, okay, you guys, you're not hiding your subtext at all. It's just your text. You're making your subtext your text, and it's pulling us out of the story.
Yeah, you and I think have very similar meanings. I used to growing up, we'd use the term navel gazing, and so I've sort of co-opted that definition for woke when it comes to media specifically. Is like it's something that abandons like the quality of the presentation for the message of the presentation.
Yeah,
you're like this is just boring. This is dumb.
But I think that what I'll often bring up as a counterpoint, they're like, "Oh, so you do hate woke stuff?" I'm like, "No, not necessarily." Because I think have you ever seen Arcane? It's a Netflix.
I actually haven't.
No. Yeah, I would strongly recommend it.
That's the League of Legends one.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in that show that superficially you could very easily describe as woke. For example, the lead character is a bright red, almost pink-haired, side shave haircut lesbian who is super strong and boxes really well. Yeah, that is like the primary protagonist, Vi, and that's sort of her deal. But she's a really good character, and she's not ultra overpowered and not constantly winning the day. She's not never scared.
Has an arc, yeah.
Yeah, like there's stuff to her. So it's like, well, is Arcane woke? I'd be like, well, I mean, maybe, sure. I don't care though, because it's good.
Yeah.
So
it's like can somebody else like just take every woke message out of this and be like, woo, I love it. Like, sure, but I can also enjoy it for like being a quality show.
Yeah. So I mean, like I don't
exactly.
I wouldn't say that the wokeness never makes anything bad, but I think it's only when bad writers get the job and they don't have creative ideas, so they default to, well, I'm gonna really say something here, and then they read a couple Salon articles or something, and then
they don't. 50, it's just so boring.
A $400 million Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's like you can say the most important thing in the world to you, but if it's boring and no one wants to listen to it, why bother? Why put the effort in at that point?
Yeah, and that's kind of so I suppose that's how I see it. But yeah, I like a lot of woke stuff too. So I don't know, maybe. Though I mean, I always say I'm a self-described libtard though. So I mean, there is that as well.
I mean, you are Canadian. You're doing the best you can. So
I think what's funny is I've had more than one person, not at all connected to each other, and they definitely didn't share any discussions about me ever, have said to me, "I think you're just a conservative who likes weed," and I'm just like,
Yeah, you fit right in with the Puget Sound here. That's Seattle.
I mean, my whole thing though is I'm just like, but I like Canadian healthcare, so doesn't that immediately kick me out of the conservative club? I don't know. not that I really.
It depends on how well you like it, I guess, or how well it likes you. If it's treated you well, then I mean you should like it. But if it doesn't,
the argument I often I'm because I'm in the military, I'm actually get private healthcare, not public healthcare, but everyone in Canada gets public funded healthcare, and you can make arguments about things like wait times, but the way I see it, your short-sighted uncle can't ruin your life in Canada. Because if a guy says, I'm not paying for insurance, I'll just pay for when I get sick. And also, I never get sick ever. And then that guy gets cancer. I don't want to have to sell my house if he's in my family, or I don't want to have to decide that my family member just needs to suck it up. He got
I
himself.
mean, he chose his path. I don't know. You can't say no to that. You just gotta let him go.
But I think I guess it's maybe my family values or something that, like, I wouldn't let a family member die like that.
I don't know. It's
I'm
the
just like,
family.
I see it as you're making this my problem, because I would not be able to just let you die, and I'd like to not have to remortgage my house to, but I don't have to do that here, because
Yeah.
I
It's
know
the honor culture, though. They chose not to. They wanted to live their life that way. You got to honor the choices they made. That's
I don't know. I think I'm like on military medicine. I've been on the road as like a civilian paramedic as well for about 900 hours is my exact amount of logged hours. And
crazy.
Yeah, people don't always make the best decisions for themselves, man.
No. People rarely make the best decision because they think nothing will ever happen to them. So they're like, oh, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I don't know. And I just like, I guess I have some sympathy for those people, or empathy, whatever you want to call it, but I don't want them to die.
Yeah. Well, it's good to not want everyone else to die. That would be great.
Yeah, but
family.
I mean, at the same time, though, I have a lot of friends who are far left of me. I have a lot of friends who are conservatives too. So I don't really, I don't really judge people that way. I'm just like, well, I mean, how often do we vote? Once every 4 years. Cool. Can we talk about video games for 3 years and like 364 days, or is that not cool?
Speaking of video games, so video game reviewing as like a job, as like a thing you're doing on YouTube, does it feel like a job to you?
Well, I mean, right now, I guess I'm trying to figure out exactly what my job doing this, I guess, especially in a more long-term serious manner, is actually going to look like, because I've made a few type of videos. I've made shorter videos where I just kind of bang out some quick thoughts and, write it out, record it, edit the audio, edit it into a review, and it ends up being 15 minutes to half an hour long. And I think that those are okay, but I also think that I'll never put as much work into one of those as I would on longer form videos like the Metroid one I made. Yeah. So I want to do more stuff like that, but I also don't want to only put out one video a year.
Yeah, you can't JonTron it immediately. Yeah.
So what I've been doing is I've been making an effort to stream at least a few times a week, in addition to doing time where I'm playing a game that I'm working on for a major project, and have an editor who's like my friend Classy Vigilante, who's been editing for me now for I think about 6 months. And because he just watches a bunch of my streams anyways, he was just one of my viewers and has an interest in video editing, and takes stream clips and kind of makes little videos that are like, hey, Mark is sometimes sort of scatterbrained, but hey, he made a point in a few seconds over this video, so let's condense it into something that humans can understand and release it. And some of them have done okay. I'm still trying to find my algorithm footing for it, but I'm doing my best to put out at least like 2 or 3 of those a week, in addition to working on a project that's hopefully going to, depending on how I end up writing it, going to be about analyzing Chrono Trigger, the old Super NES RPG, a game called Chained Echoes, which is sort of a JRPG style game that was made by one German man last year, and Sea of Stars, which is a JRPG style game inspired by Chrono Trigger as well, made by a studio in Montreal, Canada. So it's kind of how Chrono Trigger has inspired games like it all over the world.
Yeah.
And recently too.
So with games being so involved into like just basically becoming a job at this point, what do you do to relax? What's your escape? Do you sit down and watch a movie instead?
No. That's the thing. I play video games to relax, so it's not.
Do you just change the game, or do you like? Because
yeah, I mean, if I ever get really frustrated by a game, I just stop. Like I stopped playing Starfield just because I didn't like how it ran on my computer. I was like,
I've seen some people where it won't run on their computer at this point.
I mean, I've got a pretty decent computer. It's about a generation old in both CPU and GPU right now, but it's not a bad. Like I have an RTX 3090 and a Ryzen 9 5900X. So it's not a bad rig. And Starfield, I could not get a consistent 60 FPS on any setting. I couldn't, like, running it in 720p when low settings, and it's still running like crap. And I'm just like, oh, this game is just really, really badly optimized, or it doesn't like my configuration at all. And because apparently it ran pretty well for my wife, she's actually got a better computer than me right now. But my plan is to save and build one by around this time next year. And I was like, I'll play Starfield then. And if it runs better, cool. Maybe I'll play around with it. There'll be some mods too, because it's a Bethesda game. But until then, I'm just gonna play something else. And yeah, so I did play Armored Core 6 as well. Though I finished Armored Core 6 right before Starfield came out, and focused on Chained Echoes for a bit. I played Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty that I just finished like earlier tonight. And man, I had a lot of crashes. And the last two major battles, it was just Crash City. But I eventually got through it, and it was good enough that I wanted to get through it. And I was like, no, I need to know how this story ends.
Right.
But
it's like playing the old Fallout 3. You're like, it keeps crashing on me, but I gotta finish it.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not really an excuse. I actually even fired it up on a different computer, and I had just as many crashes. But yeah, I got through it though, and there's a lot of good things about the DLC. But you get the 2.0 update, like, so there's all these gameplay balance changes and perk system changes that sort of turn it into a different type of game in a lot of ways. And that's free for everybody. So it's like you don't really need to even pay for the DLC at all unless you played the game already and want more content, because just play what's there for now.
Yeah. I think a lot of, or no, not a lot, maybe a lot of people went back into the game when Edge Runners came out. Which is sort of more my field of. And
my last video on it was on that update. Like the 1.6 update. Okay. And so I made a video on it that's on Geeks and Gamers. That was the 1.0 that came out about 3 weeks after the game launched. And then a 1.6 review. And I haven't made a video on Phantom Liberty or anything, but I am still playing it. I've actually got it running in front of me right now. I've switched to a controller because I finished the DLC with my cyborg ninja build that I've got. So it's a sword and 2 throwing knives. I have no guns, no hacks.
That's just sword and throwing knives.
Sword and throwing knives.
Going Gaiden style.
The throwing knives do poison damage, so they're crazy good. And the other one,
poison when you're a robot.
Oh, so you have a neurotoxin knife that's got like a little syringe in it, like, and you can see it on the bottom. And yeah, so you assume that like once it hits into someone, it like injects a poison. So yeah, it's pretty good. And got through that build. But then the other build that I have, it's a female character, is a net runner. So she only uses hacks. Also no guns, has hacks and this like whip thing called a monowire. That's actually it's what Lucy uses.
Yeah, I was gonna say you made Lucy.
Yeah. So that's, you'll see my if you watch the 1.6 video, it basically I tried to make a Lucy and a David. It's just my David turned into a cyborg ninja, because I was I don't know
that hulking guy.
I want he has the gorilla arms, and I just use them for opening doors really more than anything else. But I was planning to build it into a brawler, but I was just having so much fun with the blades perk tree that I was like, that once I figured out the throwing knives, I was like, oh man, now I could do range damage too. So I've got, and if you have 2, you can. So the way the throwing knives work in the game, you throw it, and then a little cooldown happens around your reticle, and when it ends, you get the throwing knife back.
Nifty.
So you don't have to. They're not expendable. Like
it's not like a reload or collect more or anything like that.
Like it respawns in your hand, and like I mean, I guess there's probably some in-universe explanation for it.
We don't need in-universe for everything. It's magic.
Like you see it kind of like teleport though, so I don't know.
Techno magic. I got you.
Yeah, like they don't just have it fade in, fade out. Like they do something to make it look like there's some, I don't know, reason for it. But if you have 2 throwing knives though, you can throw one, mouse wheel, throw another, mouse wheel back up. You have your other one back already.
It's just
Throw
that fast.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not, depending on the knives you use, because some of them do. The neurotoxin knife actually has a pretty long cooldown, but I have a mod, like a little chip that you can put in it that adds basically another perk. That if I get a headshot, there's a 30% chance it will instantly return to me.
Oh, nifty.
So, like, I mean, you know, there's neat stuff you can do like that in the game, and I would recommend doing weird builds like that. And just set the limitation on yourself, because it's kind of fun. It's like, I'm just going to be a cyborg ninja, or I'm going to be nothing but punching, only fists. And
yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I played Armored Core 6 for a bit, was just always doing a Gundam build. Like, I had to copy like a heavy arms Gundam the best I could, or a Death Sight the best I could, or gun tank. And so you're like, you make these little fun challenges for yourself to like get to the end.
See, I found Armored Core 6 is almost sort of the opposite, because it's less that every build is viable and more the game encourages you to play around with what the build you have depending on your situation. Yeah, because
don't run out of money.
And
there's always money.
And every time you die, you can switch out your build entirely if you want.
Yeah,
anything that you already own. And I like the penalty for not buying what you need before you start the mission. Say if you just keep losing at a boss and you're like, oh, I need tetrapod legs or something like this for it. Your penalty is you have to quit the mission, and then you have to go through the actual level again.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's like, okay, that's a little bit from software. That's like a boss run in Dark Souls in a way that suits this structure of a game. So yeah, I loved Armored Core 6. In fact, the Chrono Trigger project actually did a kind of a poll with my viewers, where the competing project was History of Armored Core, the Armored Core series. And I've only played 6 right now. So
only played 6. Okay, I'll be excited then, because I love 1 and 4. Those are the other games that I had played previously.
So, but what I was going to do if that project, the Chrono Trigger one won out. So if I do the Armored Core one, it won't be for a while. But the challenge there was going to be like, okay, so I'm going to play every game in the series, having it be my first time playing any of it, and then just see what I think. But do make an effort to do like I'm effectively reviewing each game as it goes through the series and talking a little bit about the production. And I mean, if you saw the Metroid video, I was going to make one of those for Armored Core, but instead of it being a series that I've been playing since I was a kid, it's a series that I'm brand new to, really.
Yeah, similar to that. I like that. I did like that design, the way you went full chrono with how our thing is. I actually, my semi-producer probably wants to say that he went back and played 1. This is
I was more gonna say hello. My name is Serranus. Be careful what you commit to. Careful what you commit to. Do you know how many games there are in the series? Did you look it up?
I have a rough idea. Yes.
Yeah, because I watched a video by from Soft YouTuber the other day, Vatu Video. He did a little retrospective on it. Yeah, I think it was 17. He said.
That actually
17 in AC.
I think that might be a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be, but I know that there's.
How is it not just 6?
There's two on PlayStation 1, or is it was
let me bring up the image from his video, because he posted a little thing to show you the chart of which games are connected to each other that you could carry over the saves.
Oh, interesting.
Armored Core. Wow, there are a lot more. There's 6 numbered games, but there's a bunch of
yeah, I know that there's like 3 Armored Core 2s. There's I think 3 Armored Core 3s, 2 Armored Core 4s, and 2 Armored Core 5s. And then there's 2 exclusive PSP games as well.
That's a lot of Armored Core.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know.
It's a good thing Chrono Trigger won. Let's just say it's good.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not, because I'm not. It didn't take me very long to get through Armored Core 6, and apparently there's no bosses in the other Armored Core games. So I was like, oh, I was flying through everything without a boss.
You are the boss in Armored Core 1.
I'll pop this up here because I found that from Discord.
So I did play a bit of Armored Core 1 on my Steam Deck, and it is. I don't think that one aged particularly well, but even Armored Core 2 is a big step up in playability, I think, from there. Then again,
the bottom row is just the last 2. Yeah. And this is all of the mainline Armored Core games, not the spin-offs.
Spin-offs, yeah.
Because this skips the Formula Front one, and like I believe there's one other one.
Interesting.
And Chrome Hounds is not connected to Armored Core, right? But it is from software and it is a mech game. That's the one that confused me. Wait, is Chrome Hounds?
This looks like a mech warrior game.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, it was a differently branded game because I believe somebody else was paying to publish it.
Oh, the Dark Souls, Demon Souls thing?
I think it was 360 exclusive, and all the other Armored Core games were on PlayStation. So I heard something about like they just released Chrome Hounds as a different series, even though it's basically an Armored Core game. But I'm not 100% on that. I haven't done the research for that.
Yeah, the Wikipedia just says it's a game where people pilot customized mechs called Hounds from a third-person perspective.
Yeah, this
I mean, I'd have to play it.
Looks like Mech Warrior a little bit.
Yeah, I believe Vati did reference this. I don't think he included it in his video, though.
Hilarious.
You guys ever played Steel Battalion?
Not with the whole controller setup, no.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I've still got it in my house, actually. I don't have a working Xbox, though, so it's kind of useless.
Yeah, Blaine was correct. I started going through the first Armored Core recently myself because I really liked Armored Core 6. I did all 3 endings. And I got the 100%.
I have not yet. I'm in Blaine's boat. I've only done one of the 3 endings.
For me, I do have plenty of criticisms for it. There's another video I watched just the other day by a guy called Silver Glint. I agreed with a lot of his stuff. I think he had like about half an hour video of going over some stuff he didn't like. He played the games before, or he'd been a fan before Armored Core 6 came out. So he had some more old fan perspective on it.
Yeah, so that's the opposite perspective that I'm coming from. But I'm coming from it as a person who really likes the Dark Souls games, and I liked Elden Ring a lot. I love Sekiro. Sekiro is actually my favorite of the games that they played, and I actually saw a lot of Sekiro in Armored Core's combat design, and I believe the combat designer of Sekiro is the director of Armored Core 6.
Yeah.
And
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, most people don't look into the directors too much, but Miyazaki didn't have that much influence on Armored Core 6, likely. Because he was just
he was a producer on it. So I think he was like, I'm busy with Elden Ring, but you do another project to have a B team project. But hey, if every B team project comes out like Armored Core 6, like I'm in.
Yeah, keep it up.
Core 6, very much a very strong 8 out of 10.
It's kind of like Studio Ghibli, right? Like Miyazaki can put his name on it, but somebody else can still be producing it.
Yeah, it's coincidentally the same name.
It is. It's hilarious.
Man, imagine an Armored Core Ghibli movie.
Yeah, how would you make the cores adorable?
Kind of like the Iron Giant.
Yeah, I guess so. They'd
just a little more chibi.
I wonder if they would have like a no dialogue movie kind of thing.
So they kind of do. So the Studio Ghibli Museum in Japan, when you go, will play a like 4-minute short, and it'll be in Japanese only. But because it's such an international attraction, a lot of them just don't have any dialogue. It's just something happens, so you can kind of understand it without speaking the language. So they're constantly doing no dialogue shorts, at least.
That is something I'm a big fan of. It'd be seeing more short movies, like 20, 30, 40 minutes, just no dialogue. Stuff like that.
I don't know. No dialogue gets a little slow pretty fast.
I don't know.
I like it when stuff's slow.
Damn good.
So I think there's a lot of stuff you could do with it. I mean, people praise WALL-E. I didn't actually like it that much when I watched it as a kid.
Oh, really? It's probably my favorite Pixar movie.
Yeah, it went like how long without any dialogue? Until like 60 minutes?
Yeah, I think it's about an hour into the movie. Or I mean, if you count WALL-E and Eva speaking, they basically don't say anything. But
how much dialogue was in THX 1138? That one felt like no dialogue.
I have not seen that since I think my first year of film school.
So I went to film school.
Yeah.
That must have a really fun, exciting story behind it.
I mean, not that big a deal. Like it was just what I did after high school,
Did you get a
kind of
film
deal?
school degree, or did you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Are they the people that told you should probably go to the army?
No, that was after making an independent movie and spending like about 10. Oh God, how long was it? Hold on, from 2007 to 2011, I guess. It was 6. Yeah. So about 4 years working in the film industry, like kind of 6 from when I started making my movie in like 2005 is when I was writing it. But yeah, I just kind of decided I didn't really want to be a production assistant or something on the Hollywood sets in Toronto. So I just decided to do something else. But I've been in the army since I was 17. I was just in the reserves. So part-time army. And I actually was just doing a first aid recertification around the time I was like, I don't really want to be in the entertainment industry really anymore. And I did really well on a first aid recertification. And then my captain at the time was like, why don't you think about becoming a medic? They'll probably train you and you won't have to pay for school. And they were right. So and I just started doing it and did it for 12 years.
I mean, that doesn't seem like a bad job at all. I have a friend that's in National Guard right now, actually. I believe he's Washington. Yeah.
I got a National Guard buddy. He's about to be done with National Guard stuff.
Yeah, I think my guy has at least a couple more years because he's pretty young still too.
I mean, it pays the bills, but
it's been going pretty well for him. I don't know if he plans to like stay in it. Or you're just seeing NH just saying "Boy man."
Yeah,
Boy
he's
man.
just shouting
Boy
"Boy man." Yeah, I know. He wants to get rolling on that, but I'm having fun. I'm having fun talking. Anime. How much anime do you watch?
Quite a fair amount.
Okay.
We have some response podcasts on my channel sometimes where me and my friend KJ and do you know Lofty Pixels is?
Oh, we
know Lofty.
Lofty Pixaroo is my rival in every Pokemon game.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, So, Lofty's been on my channel a whole bunch talking about things like we've done a bunch of responses to the Attack on Titan seasons that have been coming out, and the I guess first movie effectively.
the last part, final chapter.
Yeah, well, 3. I mean, it was basically I didn't realize that they were doing this for the final section where it's just 2 movies, really. They're just releasing them like 6 months apart. But you know what? Hey, if that's how long it takes you to animate them and get them right and get the story correct, whatever that ends up meaning. But I've actually miraculously avoided Attack on Titan manga spoilers.
So congratulations.
I don't know what is going to happen in this last thing. All I know is that a lot of people tell me it sucks. However, a lot of people have told me that it already started sucking a long time ago. And like, I don't know, I'm still in. Like, maybe I'm stupid, but I'm enjoying this enough. Like, I would.
So, time travel or not a time travel show?
I don't know. Like, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's at the very least there is communication through time. I don't know about time travel though.
Yeah.
Okay, so communication through, because we have there's another chatter that he is dead set on it's a time travel thing.
Well, I mean, the answer's out there. Like the manga's finished, but I don't know exactly what it is, and I'm trying not really to theorize all that much because
I think a lot of it's just how you define it.
Maybe true, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I'd like to see how it pans out. But and then Demon Slayer we covered as well. I've watched, although we didn't end up doing any responses on it, but Chainsaw Man and Hell's Paradise recently. Have you seen either of those?
Yes.
I have watched Hell's Paradise. Yeah.
Yeah, Hell's Paradise is pretty good.
It was fucking terrible. It's just one of the worst shows I've seen.
Oh, really? Well, I don't agree.
I despise so many things about it. The animation's terrible. I really hate the whole setup for the story.
I mean, it's Paradise Lost, really. Like it's well, I mean, not exactly, but have you ever seen the movie Annihilation?
I know it. I didn't watch it actually, but
it's sort of a similar premise to that, and I think it's just the idea of like going to another plane of existence and trying to bring back the elixir of life. But The more you talk about it, though, the more it kind of spoils what's actually going on. But I think that the impressive thing about it to me was I thought the characters were very interesting.
I didn't really have too much of a problem with the characters. That was the one part I didn't really care about too much. I don't like Gabimaru as a protagonist, and that's probably one of the biggest weaknesses. But for me, like liking it, but I didn't think it was terrible.
Do we even know that he is like a protagonist necessarily? Like
That's what I mean. Is like I don't like that style of like telling a story around him because he just is kind of boring.
Well, I mean, what about Sakiri? Sakiri? Yeah, the samurai girl. Sakiri. Yeah, I sort of look at her as being the at least noble protagonist, like the paragon of virtue type person.
She'd be the person the audience would actually identify with more. If you're a woman that finds Gabimaru attractive, that is.
I mean, well,
there's lots of people that like. There's lots of people that like him for just his style because people. It reminds, or that style in general. I see lots of people like, what's the one guy from Tokyo Ghoul with like also the white hair?
Ghoul guy.
Yeah, who are the main characters from that?
Nobody knows. It's Ghoul guy.
Whoever that guy is. But yeah, same exact style.
Nobody cares about Tokyo Ghoul except Michael.
Just for his style. Well, no, there's a lot of people that actually like Tokyo Ghoul. It's the anime that soured everybody because they really butchered it.
I'm so soured by Tokyo Ghoul's.
I mean, again, I can offer no opinion on Tokyo Ghoul.
That's fine. That's
or Reddit. But I've not read a lot of manga. I've read all of Berserk that's been released, except for the most recent volume, because I know it's the last Kentaro Miura volume, and I kind of can't.
You did not make a bad choice on that at all.
There's a few more, and they're pretty good.
There's
been chapters. They're finishing it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but like, are they oh god, I keep on forgetting the new guy's name, Mora or something. I know it's kind of similar to Miura, but anyways, Miura's friend who's going to end up finishing it. I thought that the volume 41 Dark Horse one, at least as far as the way they release here, I'm not sure about like individual chapters as they're released. Do you just get fan translations of those if it's just chapter by chapter?
I wait for a guy named Almighty Lolly to read the chapter and then put together a video reading me the chapter.
Okay.
That's what I
do. That's a couple steps beyond the way I interact with it generally. I usually get the volume on Comixology and read through it on my iPad, and then when the deluxe edition comes out, I get the deluxe edition hardcovers because I think they're awesome.
Yeah, those big bound books are really cool. Yeah. But yeah, the actual ones that are the new chapters are being translated and everything. And I think there's 4 new chapters since Mira's death, so it's gonna get finished. There's gonna be a completion to the story, and it's looking good.
I'd be okay with that. I mean, I had a couple ideas of what I think they should do as far as finishing it, because I think the popular opinion when he died was that they just shouldn't finish it and just leave it as is and leave it unfinished. I felt like that probably wasn't going to happen for too long, and that someone would end up writing an ending for it that would be looked at as the ending, and it would piss people off. So I think it is probably a better idea that they're deciding to go forward with it right away instead of waiting a decade.
Oh, totally. Yeah, well, and I think having it also be like friends and the people that have been working with him for so long make it just a lot easier to stomach than if, say, I don't know, a Japanese publishing company that would step in, like Kodansha or something steps in and like, we're gonna give this team the Berserk rights and they're gonna finish it off. Like everyone would hate that, but yeah. I think there's a familiarity there that makes it just everybody's really excited for.
The idea I had, which I knew they were never going to do, but I was just like, if it were up to me, like the way Berserk would be finished or not would be have it that a bunch of different writers write their own take on like the rest of Berserk and they finish it. But there's
that would be fun.
And it's like, okay, no, it's just now, and have them be from all over the world. Be like, hey, now George R.R. Martin's Berserk, or like Neil Gaiman.
Nobody wants
Berserk.
That one. Well, Nobody wants Martin. Yeah. Get out of here, that Martin.
Is it like, I mean,
But take like, I mean, Berserk's been
people who-
around for 30 years, right? Like take every mangaka who's been like excited and stoked and inspired by Berserk and have them give their own like what if for the
but
ending. That
that's
would
what-
be really cool.
have it be a thing that lots of writers just decide to do it. That it's almost like the ending of Berserk is just an open source thing. And what's fun about that, I think, what would have been fun, is people would have their favorites and they'd have their reasons. And they talk about why this person probably understood me or better than that one. And I think that would have made things fun. And then also, if the official thing is that none of them are canon and all of them are canon, it's just like, doesn't really matter. Miura is the only stuff that's canon. And for them to be considered canon at all, they have to write it as if every chapter up until he died is canon. Like that's your rule set. Stay within that and then write the ending. And
yeah, but we do get proper Berserk art for it though, so that's cool.
I mean, yeah, no, like I'm not saying that but I didn't know like at the time.
That's the advantage of it. I would say,
this was on the table. Like we knew that he had a studio, but we also didn't know that he told anyone about his plans for finishing it. So
that was a huge like, whoa, okay. So we're not just gonna get this is what I think. We're actually getting here's what he's been saying or toying around with. And it'll be interesting too to see if they come out later and say, here are the exact parts that we were told. Like we were told that Guts does this and that this happens to Griffith and that this happens, but we had to piece together how those things come together. Like that would be a really fun, like, I don't know how you do a director's commentary.
Yeah, here's how we came up with the next rape scene.
Only one more. They only get one more though.
Rape Horse returns.
It will.
No, except it's the Mega Evolution.
Oh god.
Oh, no. Don't do that. Oh my goodness. So
hey, it didn't get Farnese. Came close. Guts got there.
what is your first anime? Do you remember?
Yeah, Ninja Scroll.
Ninja Scroll.
Yeah,
How old were you?
Probably way too young to watch Ninja Scroll, but that was the thing. We would always call them the like holy trinity of anime that if you were around in like 1994 or 95, I guess, the anime that you would likely watch are VHSs that might be bootlegged, might be rented, or might be bought for just a stupid amount of money, and belong to an older brother of one of your friends. And
always.
And then you're like 9 or 10 and you watch Ninja Scroll and you're like, oh my god, there's boobs in this cartoon.
Demons can do that.
Yeah, you're just like, oh god, like this is pretty hardcore. But
it has all the good stuff children love.
I mean, like also I went to go see Terminator 2 when it released, and I think I was 6. So, and I think my dad then showed me Terminator 1 prior to it, and there's actually a pretty graphic sex scene in the first Terminator film. So I don't know.
You kind of forget about those. I remember because my mom would quote Animal House all the time because it has so many little funny lines that just kind of work in your day-to-day life. And then she's like, you guys should watch this. And she boots it up. And like the opening scene is the guy showing up with a brown bag, whipping out a bunch of dildos and like stacking them up.
Yeah.
Like that was just par for the course back then. You're like, some dicks and boobs for my show today. Let's do it. Like,
yeah, I mean,
back when movies are based.
Well, I think that it's strange that content control has become so strict when you think about it. It's like, well, I mean, back then no one really cared, and it turned out more or less okay, I guess.
And is that why the Puritans got popular or whatever?
I mean, I don't remember them being popular. Everyone always hated like guys that would come out and be like, yeah, Mortal Kombat is trying to get kids into Satan, and you're just like, yeah, you're dumb.
And then the people that used to be the people are like, get your hands off our stuff. Just put their hands in it to everything. Yeah. Weird how that just turns around the other way.
Yeah.
It's sort of interesting too. I feel like it's more like the majority of like people who just want a thing. They kind of like shift back and forth depending on like who's more annoying at the time. And it used to be that it was just whoever was in charge was the most annoying, and they would just kind of sway back and forth. But like the internet makes it so that whoever is just the loudest is the most annoying at the time. So it's fun to watch. I'm not like an accelerationist or anything like that, but like I do enjoy watching the blood sports.
Yeah, they can be entertaining sometimes, I suppose.
I don't actually like watching the blood sports streams though. Those are usually just loud bickering and actually not that entertaining. It's better to watch the clips.
Not modern blood sports.
Yeah, clips are better. That's probably the reason why I started getting an editor to make me YouTube clips, because I'm like, well, if you stream, that's one thing, but the clips of the streams, that's where you get the money. Yeah, that's what CT does for Stitch and Adam.
Right. Yeah, I gotta find an editor.
Don't look at me.
You gotta just hire someone out of your viewers. Like someone who voluntarily watches you is gonna have a much easier time with it than if you need to talk someone into watching your streams and figuring out what to clip out. Like he's great because he just watches my streams. He's like, okay, he gives his review of Armored Core 6. Okay, we got a video.
Easy. Just keep snapping it. No, I'm trying to do it myself for right now. We'll see. We hit the 500 mark. We start getting memberships. Beyond that, then we hit the 1,000, and we actually get full mon. Then I'll worry about it. For now, it's just something to do until my food truck's ready. So.
Ah, right on. What kind of food?
Japanese. So in addition to anime, I go to Japan every year. So
right on.
Sort of my deal. So we're serving okonomiyaki and yakisoba and that kind of thing.
Cool. Yeah, a friend of mine is a food truck, I guess entrepreneur. I guess I'm not sure if he's still doing
operator.
Well, I mean because he had like more than one for a while, and then had a sit down restaurant as well, and he was on, I think, the Food Network, or if it wasn't the Food Network, it was some, I don't know, Canadian like equivalent of it that. I forget what it was, but he had like a TV show, like on actual TV for a bit, and
awesome.
Yeah, did quite well for himself. His food truck was Fidel Gastro's, and he made Cuban sandwiches that were delicious, by the way.
Hold on, Fidel Gastro's.
Yeah,
I gotta see this.
Just don't turn safe search off.
No, well, I mean, it
goes straight to the food truck. He's got enough SEO.
Yeah, no, he's pretty big.
DeviantArt didn't take it over.
My friend Matt, we went to high school together.
That's cool. Yeah, I love all that. I've grown up in and around kitchens, and it's just every time I have friends over and I make food, they're just like, you should sell this. So it sort of grew out of that, and then also just being tired of what I was doing. And you're like, all right, I'm going to stop doing what I was doing, and we're going to do this instead.
I've had that thought a few times in my life.
Yeah.
I had that thought 2 days ago.
I've never regretted the decision, though. Usually when you kind of follow your instinct on those things, you tend to be right.
Traditional, or I don't know what that means. It's Osaka style, so... It's not the giant layered version that Hiroshima makes. I enjoyed that, but no, I prefer the Osaka style where it's mixed and the pork on one side, really simple. Oh.
I think you've held people long enough. I think it's time to start your Moemon.
Moemon time?
Unless you're holding off because you can't figure out how to get it started.
I'm holding off because every time I like think I have the layout down, it like stops working and will crash. Yeah, it's like the most annoying thing I've ever tried to get to work is. Mark, have you played a DS game up for stream or anything like that?
Not for stream, but I played both Metroid Prime Pinball and Metroid Prime Hunters for the purpose of my Metroid video.
Yeah. And you could just capture the window and then like use it from there, right?
Yeah. So the Melon DS is the emulator that I use.
Okay, you use Melon DS. Have you tried it in hybrid mode?
Hybrid. Sorry. What?
Here's what I'm looking at. Here, I'll.
Yeah,
We can troubleshoot this together.
Before Blaine gets into this, yeah, are you a Fire Emblem fan? You like Fire
No,
Emblem?
shut up about Fire Emblem.
I've actually
Everybody here loves Fire
game.
Emblem.
He's never played a Fire Emblem game.
Though. I've had arguments about turn-based combat on Twitter recently.
Oh, people are talking about that still, as they have been for the past 30 years.
No. It's
all
even
Donkey's
better.
fault.
There's a YouTuber named a YouTuber. I actually don't. I just see him on Twitter. I don't watch his videos. So I mean, maybe he's got great points. I think he is a YouTuber though.
Okay, who is it?
Named Synth Potato, who said that his hot take was that Baldur's Gate should add real-time combat.
No.
And I'm just like, no. Like, and people are just like, it wouldn't be that hard for them to do. Like, and I'm just like, guys, like that would radically alter the game. Like, there's no way that you could just port a real-time combat system into Baldur's Gate 3 and have it not fundamentally change what that game is.
A very large difference is the positioning. The positioning already plays a huge role in like Alarian style of combat, so that would make a massive difference.
The best argument that I saw was from a guy named Disbrew, who's also a YouTuber that actually I met. Actually, I was hanging out with him a couple weeks ago because I was in England.
Yeah, I've seen some of his stuff.
And his argument was that Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 use the kind of BioWare system. Oh, I mean, they were made by BioWare. But have you ever played Knights of the Republic?
Yes, I have.
So you know how things are kind of occurring in real time, but
yeah,
you can
it basically queues up
and
the action. You have your cooldown.
Yeah, so
they'll do it.
He says that it probably wouldn't be too difficult for them to write some scripts that could just automate movement and then give it like movement for damage over time and like things like that.
That's not how it works for Knights of the Old Republic. Your positioning really doesn't matter in that game for the most
That's
part.
true, yeah.
But basically,
I can't say it doesn't in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 though, because I haven't played them, so I don't really want to speak.
I'm not sure. I don't think the positioning matters that much in Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, other than the fact that like there is missile limits. Like there's a limit on how far away you can hit stuff.
I really should play them to have more input on that aspect of it.
But I tried the first Baldur's Gate and I did not get into it.
The other thing though was that like his point, the dude's point, like Synth Potatoes, was that yeah, you could just add this and then it would sell a bunch more copies, and they should just take the profits they made from these sales and sell triple by adding real-time combat. And I was just like, that is a terrible gamble. When like this team that has a lot of resources, a lot of people that are very, very good at making CRPGs and like classic role-playing games or computer role-playing games, just get them making something else, something new.
Yeah. Did you also did you touch the Divinity Original Sin games?
I actually tried Divinity Original Sin 2 twice and fell off of it both times because I would just get into areas where I'd just be getting worked by enemies and I couldn't figure out where to go. But that is actually, it was playing those and though liking it, being like, I feel like I could get into this. I don't think I'm understanding it properly. And
basically it's funny. It's very open, but if you're playing on a hard difficulty, the game very much needs you to take it in a specific direction in terms of having success.
And I didn't know that, so I just ended up just going from the main beach area that like after the ship intro sequence into this underground fight arena where I couldn't even beat the first enemies.
Are you talking about like literally the first island as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not where you're supposed to go first. You know how Dark Souls has the thing where you're not supposed to go to the skeletons? That's what you did.
I mean, I know. Yeah. And I was just like, oh man, I think I don't understand how to approach this game. I'll get back to it at another point. And then as I was talking about this earlier on the show, were you listening to the whole show?
Oh yeah, I've been here the whole time.
Okay, so when I was making the reviews for Geeks and Gamers, I often needed to make one video a week, with one of them being one of them every month being a new game releases for the month. That was kind of my like break week, where it's just I take some trailers, say a thing or two about each game that's coming out that month, and be like, here's some new game releases that are coming out this month. But the other ones I would usually do a review of a game, be it an indie game, maybe a bit of a longer game that I'd be working on 3 weeks ahead of time. But when Baldur's Gate 3 Early Access came out, I was just like, oh, okay, I'll use this as an excuse. I hear you can get through this in about 30 hours. I can do that. And so I did, or at least for the early access version of Baldur's Gate. And I made what I thought was a pretty decent video on it. And that's what really got me behind like the 1.0 release coming out. I was like, yeah, I need to play this immediately, which is why I found it really funny that everyone was like, oh, this game's just all about bear sex about a week before it came out. I was like, guys, that was a meme. Like, it's not the game.
Yeah, but it is still hilarious, that whole idea.
It was kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like I think people were getting a skewed concept of what Baldur's Gate 3 really was. So I think when people then started hearing, oh man, this is like game of the year material, it caught a lot of people off guard. I was like, I knew from the beginning.
I knew it was going to be a game of the year material when I played Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah, like it's.
I fell in love with Divinity Original Sin and 2. I backed both of the Kickstarters I had for it because I just believed in the projects. Because I was like, yeah, this is great stuff. Well, after I played the first one, that is, I didn't just invest the second one without playing it. But
yeah, I did the same for Project Warlock. It's a first-person shooter.
I tried that one out. I thought it was all right.
I backed the second one. I was like, yeah, I like this one.
The second one definitely looks to be an improvement, but I haven't ever gotten around to that.
It's much different. It's very difficult though.
I can't back anything after I backed the Ouya. I'm not allowed.
That's funny. Lots of people talk about you talked about Armored Core 6 earlier because how it makes you do different things, makes you try different stuff. How did you find the difficulty overall? I thought it was kind of easy. Most of it was easy.
In Armored Core 6?
Yeah.
The majority of the missions were easy, and then every so often I would get just stonewalled by a boss that I'd have to totally switch up my tactics for. Otherwise, I'd have no chance. But
you could switch it up. Was the nice thing, right?
Yeah, and I think that is the game. Really, I think that's what I figured.
That's just how I played every level. Basically, is I would be switching up my stuff all the time, so I didn't have any issues getting stuck on bosses. Also, the fact that the Zimmermans were the ones I chose first, and that's what happened with me playing Elden Ring. I play all the Dark Souls games trying out bleed builds, and then I do an Elden Ring. It's just the best build.
Yeah. Actually, I have a very similar story with me because I always played it as a thief, and generally you would have a dead
and the bleed builds were never good in like the old ones. It was just like, whatever. It doesn't really matter.
What are you talking about? Bleed Rex Bloodborne.
No, I never played Bloodborne. I'm talking about Dark Souls.
Also Dark Souls.
Which Dark Souls isn't amazing like it is in Elden Ring?
DS1. The first one. You just rock the katanas and you rock the bleed the whole time.
Which katana? Did you kill the shopkeeper?
You always kill the shopkeeper.
I didn't kill the shopkeeper.
No, I would always get to the washing pole.
That's too cheap to like just kill the shopkeeper, so I didn't do it. Yeah, I just went Dex instead of like committing to bleed. Because I was like, whatever, it doesn't seem that good.
Well, I mean, I beat Dark Souls 3 with a bleed build, like a thief, bandit dagger the entire time. And man, fighting Slave Knight Gale with a bandit dagger, not fun. I've never beat Dark Eater Madir because just that build is ineffective for him.
I actually haven't gone through, because I actually only got into FromSoft games in 2022. Like at the beginning of 2022.
Oh, wow.
Right before Elden Ring came out. Yeah, like right before.
Recently then, okay.
Yeah, I'm a very recent fan of FromSoft. I didn't finish all the Dark Souls 3 stuff because I put it down. I was like, okay, I'll take a little break before Elden Ring gets here. Adorable doggo. Yes.
Like a puppy.
Pomeranian, right?
Yeah, this is Rocky. No, he's a Chihuahua, actually.
Oh, that's just a long.
Yeah, it's the dog of your people, Serranos.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
Are you coming for boys' time? Did you leave?
I like Chihuahuas. I like small dogs generally.
Yeah, no. I've
one thing I think people don't realize. People don't realize your attitude affects the dog. It'll change how the dog acts.
Yeah, that's why Rocky's such a good boy. He's got a good daddy.
Yeah.
So chill.
Yeah, I always like seeing you whenever you come up on streams. I think you're a really good stream guest.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well, you do a really good job of just jiving. I guess you could just say jiving, vibing with other people.
Yeah, I'm a pretty relaxed person when I'm on streams. I get more intense at work.
That's probably important, though.
Yeah.
You're really intense when you're getting deep into Baldur's Gate 3.
Are you allowed to tell us what's the worst thing you've had to treat on the job? Was it your own leg? Was it?
No, I didn't treat my own leg.
Okay.
I'd probably say, I don't know, because there's a couple that are really gross for very different like I think you need to specify as like, do you want the bloodiest one, the most disgusting one, the one that made me almost puke? Like,
Yeah, give us the pus-filled anus from Reddit. Give us that story.
that had to be when I was doing an ER shift. Actually, this wasn't on EMS, and like an emergency room shift, like when you're doing clinic hours. Just in paramedic college, actually. So like not even in military actually training. It was when I was in my civilian portion of my training, and there was a woman who had a bowel obstruction.
Oh no!
Who ended up vomiting fecal matter, and I was like, oh my god! And then
that's horrible.
The other paramedic student who was also doing the clinical hours with me, she like immediately almost vomited and like ran to the nursing station and like hyperventilating. And I came over, I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" She's like, "I didn't know that could happen." I was like, "Neither did I." Actually, that was news to me.
That's
crazy,
terrifying.
And she's like, "How are we ever gonna do this?" I'm like, I mean, I don't know. We gotta deal with it somehow. Hold your breath. And I went back in, but yeah, no, I think the other girl wasn't up to it. But like, to be fair, I feel for her. Like, I'm like, yeah, I get you. I could understand why for like most people that.
How long were you impacted for it to come out the other side? Like,
I don't know. I didn't ask.
That's insane.
Probably 2 or 3 days.
I think so what I believe is happening is because it's not like it wouldn't be from like your large intestine, right? Like it's not that kind of fecal matter, but
but still it's digested food, right? Yeah.
What's happening though is the pyloric sphincter, I believe, is esophageal. Yeah, okay. So the esophageal sphincter is up here and it goes into your stomach. Like it brings food from your esophagus into your stomach. Your pyloric sphincter is down at the bottom of your stomach, and that leads into your small intestine. So what must have happened is she had a spasm or something that was holding her pyloric sphincter open, and then had some kind of bowel contraction that pushed a bunch of stuff up into her stomach, and then it kept coming up. So. Oh, no. Like, I mean, they like sucks for her, really. Like, that really is not a cool thing to have to go through.
No.
But, yeah, the healthcare workers though are also not having the best day. Like, even though I tried to react to it as like as cool as I possibly could, it was still hard to not be like.
You're like, I'm gonna try not to panic so that you don't freak out, but I think you already know how terrifying this is.
Did she end up needing internal surgery for that?
Oh, I don't know. Like, that's the thing.
I
like,
don't know. They just moved on.
Well, I mean, no, we're not definitive care. So, like, I mean, we kind of help.
I just assumed you had heard something about that like later in the day. You know?
That's the thing. Almost every patient I've ever had, I don't hear anything about them ever once we get them to the hospital. Like, that's it. Every so often, if I have patients at the Army base, like I see them more often because, like, people at the base come into the same clinic. And right now, I'm working at a clinic, so I'm not out on the road doing any high impact action stuff. But yeah, I think that was probably the most disgusting one. There's on the road, like on car accidents especially, much bloodier. I've definitely seen a lot more violent stuff, but yeah, that was probably the most gross.
Yeah,
and like, we're allowed to talk about that stuff, we just can't tie a name to it.
Oh yeah.
So if a hypothetical patient that happened sometime in my career, non-specifically, is a lot different than saying yesterday there was a person with blonde hair and blue eyes who's
exactly
might have rhymed with Mike, if you know what I mean. And like that.
Yeah, it's old trike.
Yeah,
I hate that guy.
Oh, Mr. Hunt had an issue.
Yeah, but that would be breaking patient confidentiality. But we can always talk about things in the abstract. Like, it's not really a problem.
It's like I still remember the first like kung fu movie I watched where a guy got kicked in the shin and you could see the bone.
Yeah,
and that just like, I hate
open
it.
fracture is what that's called.
It's the worst. It's the worst looking thing. And like I'm of the brain where like if I see something that's like disgusting, like I'm fixing like a backed up toilet, or you've got a dead animal that you've got to take care of, like my brain just goes into like fix it mode and I just kind of like shut down. But then as soon as I'm done fixing whatever it is, I'm taking a shower that's scalding off the top layer of skin. Like I hate it so much.
Oh man, there's just a family of dead possums clogging up my sewer system. I gotta take care of it.
My buddy had a shed in his backyard, and it was an awful shed. The previous homeowners like didn't use or take care of it at all, and so it was all rotted out. So we're cleaning it out. He finds a rat while he's like doing it, and he doesn't quite kill it, and so he's like, God, there's this rat back here. And so I go over to help him like keep cleaning it up and taking it apart, and then we move this plywood, and there's a rat, and I set it back down. I'm like, dude, the rat's right there. And so like we're 25, 26, and so we each get like a pickaxe and like a splitting maul, and we're like, all right, we're gonna kill this rat. We throw open the plywood, miss horribly, because it's a freaking rat, so it just takes off, right? And then we realize that there's rat babies right there, like a whole nest with like 4 babies. And I was like, these things gotta die. And he's like, what? And I was like, bring me the bleach in a bag. And I dumped them in a bag and bleached them, smacked them on a rock so they didn't suffer, and threw them in the trash. And it was just, you just scooped them up, felt their like little bodies. You're like, oh, I gotta kill them, because if I don't kill them, they're gonna like they're not good for our neighborhood.
Yeah.
You're like, I gotta take care of it.
Yeah.
I do have a story from when I was a kid of a thing like that. I was pretty young. I think I was like,
you killed
5.
a rat as a kid?
No. I was 5, just like riding a bike with like some neighbor kid. She fell off and scraped her bike. She like fell off her bike and scraped her knee on the pavement. Except I think there was a rock just like on the like sidewalk. There's just like a rock on the sidewalk. She got caught on under her bike. She was like had her leg under her bike as she's like getting scraped along the pavement. She got a chunk of her knee taken out, like right next to the like a chunk of flesh. Like I don't remember how big it was, but it was like, you know, bigger than a quarter. Chunk of flesh is like taken out right above the knee, just gone. It was really gross looking at that. I still remember what it looks like. It wasn't bleeding very much. It was just like there's a chunk of flesh missing from above the kneecap now.
Ugh, it's the worst.
Yeah, and then the other time I stabbed my sister with a skewer.
Maybe you shouldn't say that one in public.
That was also a long time ago.
You don't
had to go to the emergency room for that one.
She earned it.
I think the neighbor kid we also took to the emergency room, but
because you also stabbed him.
No, I didn't go along. I didn't ride along for that one. I rode along when I stabbed my sister. It was an accident.
Teacher for telling her friend Christina that I'm gay.
No, I'm not gay.
Why'd you tell her I'm gay? You knew I liked her.
Stop it. I wanted her.
No, it was straight up an accident, like trip accident. You know, you're just holding it. Yeah,
you're just holding it, and you just tripped.
I just had it. It just happened.
We were only joking about it because we assumed it wasn't on purpose. Otherwise, it would have been.
It's on purpose. Why are people say I have a motive? What motive would I have for this? I can't.
Well, I mean that's why I was presenting the most comical, childish motive one could possibly have for stabbing someone.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep our eyes on you.
Well, there was a family pet that died mysteriously. That might have been a motive.
Oh no! Did you lose a lizard, a gecko, the childhood pet?
I actually had fish as pets when I was a kid.
I still have fish as pets.
I wouldn't really bother getting one now. I'd much rather have a dog.
Yeah, dogs, small dogs, man. I'm telling you.
I love small dogs.
They're easy to take care of, and they're quite awesome.
Just less expensive.
My fish tanks are all automated, and it's just like pretty wall art. You're like, oh, it's alive. It's like a little chunk of nature just out here, and you're just like, oh, this is fun to look at. Plus, I'm in the Northwest, so I love fish. I have dojo loaches. I've got hillstream loaches. I have golden minnows. I have all kinds of weird little fish.
I like neon tetras. That was one that was like really cool as a kid. Just nice bright colors.
We had those as a kid.
I had a couple beta fish, and Yeah, they were violent.
Oh, they totally.
You
and
put
they're
them in the same
hilarious,
tank
too.
with each other.
No. They
Oh.
just when we would put their tanks close to each other, they'd go enraged,
Yeah.
and it was creepy.
Yeah, no, we had a beta when I was a kid, and for the last like year of its life, my dad woke up every morning and had to put it back in the tank because it would jump out.
Hmm.
And it's just they have that weird their gills are like labyrinth based, so they can actually breathe air decently well, which is hilarious for fish. But
That is
yeah,
strange.
it stayed alive for a year. Like every day, it was just sitting on the ground. You just plop it back in the tank. It was like, okay. Do you have a favorite starter Pokemon? I know you're not a Pokemon guy, but like,
I mean, isn't
said
it
you're
just the three? Like, aren't they? Oh God, wait.
Water, fire, and grass. And
Yeah,
this is
but it's
Gen
the
2.
Bulbasaur, the Squirtle, and the Charmander.
Yeah, he has a couple different ones here because this is the second generation. He's got the Totodile, Cyndaquil, and Chikorita.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got the fire one. That's like, I mean, you got to kill things with this, right?
yeah, it's true.
So yeah,
Fire kills.
can't go wrong with fire.
Can't
Grass
go
can't
wrong
kill
with-
everything, and water can't kill fire. I mean, can only kill fire.
As a guy who grew up with allergies, grass can kill things.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, it didn't kill you.
I'm alive. I survived. It tried. Ooh, what do you got going? Is this
Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Yeah, this is my Netrunner build. The frame rate is not being well represented. It's running much nicer for me. I've got a lot.
Oh yeah, free Restream has a limiter, so that's why.
Yeah, no.
this is painful? What's painful? Get out of here, IJP.
Ah, I've died.
You're gonna have to start. Sorry, gonna have to start taking more drastic action against the chatters that are getting uppity.
Yeah, I finally figured out what was wrong with Melon DS. I needed to switch it to OpenGL, and then it just started working. So,
Oh, what did you
Huzzah.
have it in?
software
Vulkan.
is what it was selected.
Oh
out.
yeah. OpenGL is actually using your graphics card now.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be
all
Yeah.
of my 3070 to run Pokemon from years ago.
Hey,
yeah, that makes sense.
well, no, but it just wasn't using it at all. It was trying to encode everything with your CPU. That's what
makes
software is.
Which is what I would guess OBS is completely taking over right now. So it was just like, no, we're not doing
Usually,
anything.
Yeah, it's not like OBS is using all of it, but it has control.
OBS uses all of it. Don't be
I don't think it's
don't
really
lie
that.
about it.
It's not that heavy on your CPU, is it? Like, what's it showing you right now?
I don't know. Let me look.
They should just have a little percentage. Usually, it's like nothing. It's like 5%, 4%.
It's at
1.
4.2%.
Yeah, it's like the
Google Chrome's using 10%. Get out of here, Chrome. Asshole. I need to stop using Chrome.
You stop looking for 5 seconds, and it takes even more.
OBS is smelly. It can be. It can be. Okay. One thing, and I'm glad Serranos is here because now it's finally 2-on-1 against him. Numbers suck for reviews. Numbers are the worst. They don't convey any sort of meaning. And I heard you in your Metroid say you don't use numbers. What scale do you use?
I don't. My observations.
There you go.
I listen to what I have to say. I mean, like sometimes people will be like, "Well, if you had to put a number on," I'm like, I don't know. Like, also I find I end up pissing a lot of people off because I tend to use an actual metric scale where 5 is the middle. If I'm gonna get
right.
10 for, and yeah. So when I say that something I like is a 6, people are like, "Well, that means you hate it." That's the and I even have people in my chat that are like, "Yeah, no, the way we see it is." An 80 is a passing grade, and everything below an 80 is a failure. And I'm like, well,
Yeah, I don't care what other people think. I'm gonna grade it.
I'm just
how I
like, but they're
grade
not.
it.
It's not like it's not an academic course though. Like you're not.
Yeah,
You're not. It's not a score. Like we don't have a rubric that we're going over and grading the game with. It's every
Exactly.
game has their own merits and their own reasons for being good or not. And I think that it's if you distill things down too far and into or not far enough, I guess it would. I guess the way I'd see it is if you want to do a score system, I think a 5-point system works a lot better than 10, and definitely a lot more than 100, because it gets people thinking of a three stars out of 5 as a pretty good review, and not like everything below a 4 is bad, and a 5-star is basically one that you should essentially never see. Because nothing should really be able to do that unless it's the absolute pinnacle of what it's achieving, like a pinnacle of its genre, the best storytelling that's ever been attempted in the medium, like something really major. And I think that the IGN review score being a system of numbers that go from 6 to 10 is effectively a 5-point review scale anyways. It's just they don't use 1 to 5. Or it's just when they want to make.
The last time you saw 1 to 5, like, have they ever done anything down there?
I mean, yeah, but it'll generally think of the PS4 version of Cyberpunk 2077,
where it just doesn't work. Yeah,
and even that got a 4. That got a 4. It got just below average.
Yeah, like, with anime, we use the annulist.co site to track a lot of it, and you can pick your grading scale. And I always go as smiley face or sad face. Like, it's so much easier for me to convey, like, oh, I liked it or I didn't like it.
3-point scale, yeah. Like, and because I think that what that means is, there's a lot of nuance in those categories, but you're gonna have to talk to me if you want more than that. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, I think, like, I mean, it was the Siskel and Ebert one, really. Like, it's thumbs up, thumbs down. Like, but I mean, I think that you can do like a 5-point scale pretty reasonably if you wanted to. I think ACG, the video game review YouTuber, does it very well in that he says, is a game a buy, a get on sale, a deep sale, never.
Oh, there you go. How much should you pay for it?
Or never, or don't buy this. Like, and like, it's just like, hey, what level of good is this game? Is it, should I rush out and buy it right now? Should I wait till it's on a Steam sale? Should I wait till it's in a bundle or like $5 or something? Or should I
get a humble bundle? Yeah,
or should I never play it? It's not worth my time. Or like, is it on Game Pass? Can I just play it on Game Pass right now and then decide if I like it? And realistically, I think most of those games is just, you should just, if they look interesting to you at all, fire them up. What do you got to lose?
Yeah, and games are so, like, they take so much time, right? That like, I've got a friend who literally looks at a game, looks at the how long to beat, and sort of does like the math as to how much he wants to pay for it. And he's like, how much is my hourly worth on playing this game and enjoying it?
I don't know. I think that's really hard to quantify, because the amount of hours you get out of a game, to me, is directly proportional to how much you like it generally. Because I mean, I honestly could probably spend the whole rest of the year playing nothing but Resident Evil 4 Remake if I really wanted to just dig into it and get great at it. And if
there's mods too now, right?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's like, but that's not a long game. It's not like
not at all.
And you don't have to play through it on professional difficulty, and you don't have to try to unlock all sorts of other weapons and costumes and things. But you can. It's there, and the game's fun enough that if that's the game that you really want to dig into, fair enough. Like, that's a game that you can get 500 hours out of if you want. I've easily gotten, I think I'm probably nearing 200 hours in Cyberpunk, and definitely over it if you count my first playthrough, like back at launch, because that was on GOG, not Steam, so it's a different calculation.
Doesn't track it there, yeah.
So, and I think I'm up towards 300 hours now of Final Fantasy 14, which is a game I pay for monthly. So it's like, well, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's hard to really quantify the value of a game beyond, hey, is it worth what you're paying for it? However, I think that if you're making a review, you absolutely should factor in the cost to the audience that you're presenting the review to, because I mean, it was I had a lot to say about that Last of Us Part 1 remake that they made, where they were charging $70 for for the PS5 remake of The Last of Us. That, I mean, it's just a texture pack, man. Like, it's that everything else is identical, and it's got nicer graphics. It's like, no, but they rebuilt it and the AI is all different. It's like, I heard the AI is actually only different on grounded mode. So are most of the people playing that? And they're like, and $70, it has to be $70 because that's what PS5 games cost. I'm like, my argument there is just like, you understand that they're only selling this to people who are big fans of The Last of Us. And they're
and
$10.
that's what they've always cost. Doesn't mean that's what this one has to cost.
And it's,
right?
it's not even always. It's what games have cost this generation only. But I think what's sort of crazy about that is, well, Last of Us is on the PlayStation Store for $20. You just get the PS4 version. It runs 1080p, 60 FPS on PS5 and PS4 of PS4 Pro at least easily. I mean, actually, no, just even PS4 because that game.
They didn't even remove the PS4 edition from like the store to force people to buy the remake.
No, but like, so the reason is I'm just like, hey man, like all they're doing is milking the people who believe in them the most. Like they're charging you $10 more than they damn well need to on a game that already has its writing, its performances, its music, its level designs, its sound effect. Every single little bit of that is done. They just upgraded the graphics and they're charging you $70 for it.
That's why people say PS5 has no games.
I mean, like it's got games. Like I don't know if I'd go that.
I mean,
Gran Turismo 7 is the only game I need. Okay, I love my PSP.
Returnal was really good. Like, and also I don't subscribe to the hey, if a game is on PC, it's not on PlayStation anymore. It's like, well, I don't know. It still is, right? Like, I don't think I've never been of the mentality that other people not being able to play a game makes a game I'm playing better. I don't get it. I don't get why people.
Oh yeah.
Just like, I do have a lot of opinions about review scores stuff, but I would like to ask: do you play multiplayer games too much, like competitive ones, like shooters, MOBAs, that kind of stuff, or
I wouldn't
just Final Fantasy?
Yeah. No. I mean, like
Final Fantasy, I wouldn't count as that. I was just saying it's a multiplayer game. Yeah,
it's a multiplayer game, but you're effectively interacting with it single player most of the time. Like, yeah, that's what Final Fantasy 14 is.
Yeah.
It's like saying Elden Ring is multiplayer, right?
Yeah, like it is, but also it's like you don't really have to approach it like it's multiplayer. I guess like there's a few raids that you do have to do in Final Fantasy 14, and those do require other players. Like you can't just boot in with them.
Yeah, but there's subhuman trash. You have to treat them like people.
The thing is, though, all of the quests, like the dungeons, the dungeons that you have to do for the main story quests, you can always load in with NPCs.
Yeah, so, and I thought that was really cool too. When my friend told me that, I was like, wait, really? They just like give you story NPCs that help immerse you in the game? That's cool.
Yeah, and it's it's pretty solid overall, and I recommend it. But the thing is, I've always gotten my money's worth per month paying for that game, even though it's a game that you have to pay for every single month, which seems like a ripoff. But also it's like, well, I don't know, but like how much enjoyment am I getting out of it, and how far is that money going? And I think that you could easily make an hours claim. But honestly, for me, I think the main plus side to playing that game has been the stories. They've been really, really solid, like Final Fantasy stories that are better than most of the recent Final Fantasy games. And they're just expansions within a greater story that I don't know if it's ever going to actually end. But
have real Final Fantasy.
Because I mean,
I liked the anime tie-ins at least with 15. It was fun to watch.
Yeah,
like a movie
I
again.
think 15 story gets significantly better if you watch not only the anime but that Kingsglaive movie.
Yep.
Because that fills in a lot of pretty necessary, not backstory so much as moment before the actual story.
Literally what could have been the intro cutscene to the game.
Yeah, and I think that it's that the 15 story does kind of come together a lot better than I think people give it credit for often. But
I think the only thing 15 suffers from is just the repeated dialogue. The Pronto constantly, hey there, opening, and I've come up with a new recipe. It's like they're just these quotes that just float through my head now. I guess, and I didn't even play it. My wife played it.
Well, yeah, I played the PS4 version entirely, and I played to about the middle of the third chapter of the PC version. And I tried going back to it after playing Final Fantasy 16, but I didn't really click with it all that much, and then I really clicked with 14, and then kind of decided to go from 16 to 14. 16 though is another game that I enjoyed, but it just fucking runs like absolute dog shit. And I don't understand. I like it's like, oh yeah, we developed this for the PS5 from the ground up. It's like, okay, well then why does it only run in 60 FPS in combat and drop to it like headache inducing every time you're just trying to explore and do side quests?
I don't need 60. I need stable at this point in my life.
Yeah, why does this run worse than Breath of the Wild on the Switch?
Yeah, no,
what do you got going on here, man?
But like the thing is though, your choice was locked 60 in combat and then unstable out in the world, or locked 30 everywhere. And the 30 FPS looked like horseshit because it was just loaded with motion blur. And
oh no,
it's a Devil May Cry game, really. It's not like, I mean, it's a character action game that involves a lot of split-second counter timing. So I don't understand why they didn't prioritize frame rate over everything else. Like they were like, okay, well, yeah, no, Devil May Cry 5 looks incredible though, and it's always running at a good frame rate. Why is and that's a PS4 game, so how come this design for the ground up for the PS5 exclusively game runs like crap?
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't like a part of like this in the last generation that like we were unifying consoles with PCs, so it would be easier to get all of this sorted out without having to run into these issues of like, oh, the game doesn't quite run as well as we hoped it would. You know, it's I think it's all targets. It's just they want games that when you see that initial E3 trailer, it makes the whole audience be like, oh my god, look at how awesome that looks. And if you notice, actually, that a lot of E3 trailers or whatever it would be, PlayStation.
Oh yeah, there's no more E3 anymore. That's dead.
No, but like, I mean, whatever the event, you know, like even stuff in E3 for any live stream they have where they're showing a bunch of trailers of things, lots of stuff is getting shown at 30 FPS now. And I think what they're doing is trying to be like, yeah, so people don't know what it's really going to look like when it's running. So if we have to cap it at 30 FPS, we're going to be like, well, when did you ever see it running at 60? Like our vision was to have it be 30 FPS.
I mean, it's just like so many of these things, they just don't even care that much about the performance. It's like, just get it out the door.
Yeah, I know. And it's why I don't have this video out yet, but I'm planning on putting it out soon, where I talk about early access being a thing that I think we should more widely adopt, because like, no one's pissed about everything early
access anyways.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, so if we're constantly having broken game releases that are fixed like 2 years afterwards, why not just release? It'd be like, hey, look, we ran to a bit of a sticky spot in development here. We're not going to be able to get this game out on time. We know you want to play it. We have a workable build. We think maybe some people might actually really enjoy what we've got now. So we're going to release it in early access, 1.0 launch when it's done. And then
I think that right there, that last little bit you said is the big issue, because like I loved The Forest, but I'm pretty sure that game was early access to this day, and they have a sequel out already. So it's like they need to just at some point do a full release.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's fair, but I mean, I think that doesn't happen super often. Like I think Baldur's Gate being a really good example, though, an early access game that was in early access for 3 years, and most people forgot about it. Some people kept playing it through those whole 3 years and sending the developers feedback. Other people like me played it once and then said, okay, I'll wait for 1.0. And the 1.0 launch comes out, and it's still a really big deal. It's still grabbing headlines. It's still getting a lot of attention because now it's done. And now it's like, okay, now everyone look at this game again. I don't think
Baldur's Gate was in a good situation because they already had a very good loyal fan base, and then it continued building it as they like worked on Baldur's Gate 3.
True, but I don't think that would have been impossible for CD Projekt to do with Silent
Nope, I agree.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, and I definitely think they could. Yeah.
But I mean, EA for Battlefield 2043 or whatever it is. No, yeah, 2042.
When there's two different sides to it.
2043?
For something like EA,
Yeah, like what was the new
they're
Battlefield that came out? The
I
newest
don't
one?
even know, but
I think it's
the way it
2043.
is,
Like it's supposed to be like
EA wants to be getting out new games every year. There's no reason for them to bother doing this because people buy it anyways.
Yeah.
And then the other half of it is the fact that many suits, I'm gonna say, just don't want to have the humility to say that their games aren't finished when they come out. They just ignore the criticism, and it's like it doesn't matter. They're gonna sell anyways.
Yeah. What about a pay for beta release? What if they market it like that?
I mean that's what early access is.
Kind of funny, yeah.
But like, I mean, and I think though that the way I look at it is we were actually talking about crowdfunding and Kickstarter and the Kickstarter games and stuff earlier. Yeah. I think that's what early access is. It's just a form of crowdfunding. Mm-hmm. It's just like, hey, you know what? Here's a game idea. It looks pretty cool to you. Hey, do you want to give us money for it now? We'll give you the full version when it comes out. And you can play what we got now and send us feedback, and we might actually even use your suggestions to make the game better.
I think that's a more
Flawed Man of God. I think the problem is it would command full price. I think people would pay full price. I think that's just where people are at. They're like, I want to play this game. I don't want to be left out. I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it being full price if it was going the full price that it would launch at, because you're just buying you're pre-ordering it. And then you're able to play development builds. Do you know how much I would have loved to be able to do that when I was a kid? Like if it's like,
and incorporate a feedback system too.
Yeah, and like I can actually send letters to the developers, and they might take my feedback seriously. Like I think all that would have been wild to me. And but you talk about it now, and people are like, oh god, no, early access sucks. I'm like, why? Why does it suck?
Well, there's some dangers to it. It's like the fact that not that we, but just the industry at large fully accepts broken games.
I mean, yeah, but that's why I say like, okay, so then just you're doing early access anyways. You're just lying about it. So that's what I mean. It's like, how is that in any world better? I'm just like, I just think if they were being honest and saying, hey, we're launching this game right now, but in early access because it's sure as shit not done, is a lot better than Todd Howard coming out and being like, well, no, the game is optimized. You just need to upgrade your PC.
Yeah, have a better computer.
Fuck, Todd, come on.
Yeah, no, that is the greatest. And it is fun, like because I'm in the Seattle area. I was actually a part of some of the early testing for I think it was Halo ODST when they were getting that multiplayer built out. And it's a great time to like play this like blocky ass build of the game with a bunch of people and then like come up with like what you thought needed to get fixed. And I think people would just enjoy that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I want to roll it back a little bit, Blaine alluded to me having strong opinions about scores and reviewing stuff generally, not just like games, but I watch plenty of anime just like Blaine.
That's like all I do.
Too. I have my annual list. I have it the opposite of him. I have it fully decked out with a 20-point scale.
That's too many points.
Yeah, I think it's
basically it's 10 and like 10, 9.5, 8, 8.5, blah blah blah. I mean, for me, what a review score is, you don't ever compare a review score between reviewers unless they have the same mentality of what they want it to be. For me, I don't care how somebody perceives a 5 out of 10. It's like, man, that's terrible. Well, no, it's just kind of mid. It's like, yes, I wouldn't really bother with a 6 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10, not because they're bad, but because there's too many good things that exist. That's like the short of it.
I hate that mentality because I think there's a lot of things that aren't that good that you might personally love and that you'd skip because someone slapped a number on it that was too low. You know,
that's what I mean. I don't really care how other people want to perceive it. This is my giving something a score comparatively to everything else that I've done. That's how
I love some of the worst shows of the seasons. I call them my popcorn shows because it just feels like you're throwing back something that's like not good for you, but you're still enjoying it. If a show has a
ninja in it, Blaine is gonna start.
I love ninja shows.
That's how Blaine does it. Man.
They are.
And for me, some people dislike certain things, but I like interspecies reviewers. Yeah, that is a movie about men who go to monster girl brothels.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's
Pole
a
Princess.
fun
Yep,
one.
the pole dancing anime. The anime
I-
that's like
for-
Twilight. No,
for-
that one's actually good. That
dancing
one's
anime.
fantastic.
The Twilight anime.
It's not Twilight. It's actually like Sherlock Holmes and vampires, werewolves, Frankenstein monsters, and Moriarty, Onis from Japan, and it's like a big mystery thriller for a 2 or 3 act or two or three episode arc each time, and it's a fun one because you're like, oh, who done it, and you're like trying to figure it out at the same time that the people are solving the mystery. It's called Undead Murder Farce from this season, and it's just really fun. But that's the thing with like anime, right? It's like I've got 30 shows that are worth starting, 10 that are great, worth finishing, and meanwhile everybody just complains about whatever Netflix is doing or Disney is doing, and it's like, why complain when you just go watch better stuff? That's my motto.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the issue, especially with a lot of the things from like Disney, especially having both Marvel and Star Wars, is there is still value in pointing out why the way they're doing it is wrong.
There is
From a
people that are
critical
actually
perspective,
creating, yeah, they're actually going to be talking about it correctly or creating content. But if you're just going to be complaining to your friends, man, I hate this. This sucks. Why am I watching this? You just need to stop. Stop watching it. You already realize the problem. It's not good. Now you need to do something about it.
Yeah, like you're right. I guess if you're not like a commentator or anything,
yeah, if you're not trying to, or are not making money on it, don't. Like, it's not worth your time.
Or getting some kind of catharsis. Like maybe you're a person who gets catharsis from seeing somebody else really suck at putting something together, and that makes you feel better about your own like journaling or whatever you do. Maybe you get to watch it. But if you're not getting something out of your escapism, then why are you like indulging in it?
I mean, I guess I don't know how to answer.
I talked about like dropping stuff.
I get a lot out of my escapism.
Just not bothering with stuff that's like kind of okay. I currently own 1,700 games.
That's a lot of games.
If I'm playing something that's like not really that good, why would I keep playing it? Like, I just tried Doom 3 the other day, and I didn't like it. I just did not like playing it. The shotgun is so unreliable. The weapons feel kind of piddly. There's some good environmental, just some good environments, but it just was not fun to play. The guns were so inconsistent.
Think of it this way, though. Like, how much time did you give it before you decided that?
I give it about 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say that Doom 3, one of its biggest problems is it has a really, really slow start. Whereas towards the end, like by the time you get to Hell, it actually starts playing much more like a Doom game. It just builds up to it quickly.
Oh yeah, that's where I actually paused. I was looking right at the gate. Yeah.
Oh, you got there in 2 hours? Jesus. Okay. And was
he just speed runs.
Well, I think that was the gate to Hell. That's what I assume it was. It might have been still part of the facility. Where would you expect that to be at?
I don't know. I
could actually pop it open right now and just show it up. I think I still have. I don't think
it's been a while since I played it, but I do remember that like from the last time I did play Doom 3 is I do remember that once you have a bigger arsenal of weapons and you can start moving around a lot quicker and everything, like the game does get a lot more run and gun boomer shootery and less survival horror. And it also starts getting much less difficult to find light in the game, which is kind of a major.
Oh yeah, I actually didn't really. I didn't think the light was really that big of a problem. It was just kind of there, but more so the thing for me was just the shotgun was so inconsistent. Sometimes if you were lucky, you'd get it in one shot, but even if I was very close range with like an imp, it could take 3 shots to kill it. There was one time it even took 4 because it just kept missing. It was the most frustrating thing. Is like, what? I can't put up with this. The machine gun was just way better. The SMG was just obviously.
Yeah, it is. But I mean,
you guys play the first of the new Dooms?
Yeah,
I played.
Okay,
I beat both of them actually. Yeah.
My buddy and I played that. Like he bought an Xbox at like Pawn Exchange or whatever, and it was in the Xbox, and so we were like, oh, let's play it. And there's a glitch if you play multiplayer where your flashlight just shines through the other character. So one of you can just be the flashlight bitch while the other one shoots everything as you run through that entire game. It's kind of hilarious.
The newer versions, That's not 2016. That's
As
Doom
we say,
3. But that is Doom 3 that you're talking about. But in the modern versions of Doom 3, though, the flashlight is on the gun, so it's a lot less difficult actually, because you used to have to either have a flashlight
swap and everything. Yeah.
and they
I think the game actually gave. Yeah, I think I don't actually discredit the game for that. I think it gave you good tools to mess with that. Other than the fact that spawn monsters behind you every time you walked somewhere, that was kind of annoying. But no, the flashlight was okay because you could just flick it on. You could hear them coming pretty easily, and usually they had something glowing. Like the imp would have its fireball if it's ever attacking you. The zombies had eyes, and then like the zombie marines had the helmets.
Yeah, so you didn't need light on, but it did make it pretty cool. But I do think Doom 2016 is a much better game. I still think Doom 3 does have some value as like a thing to go through, just so you sort of understand how it realized that they were moving in a direction that wasn't really what Doom was. Like Doom's more about speed, constant movement, and killing lots of monsters incredibly. But
and watching the speed runs can be crazy.
Yeah, I love Doom 1, 2, and 2016. I wouldn't count Eternal in that.
I think Eternal is awesome. So
I don't think it's bad. It's just I didn't really like just that there's just so many buttons.
Yeah,
too many buttons to push.
I've never played it on a console, so I don't know if
I only play on PC. But the thing is, it's just kind of annoying to try to keep up using and switching and using all the stuff.
Well, I mean, I always just I'd switch weapons with the mouse wheel, and I would just get pretty good at flicking to the one that I needed to quickly enough, because
you get used to the scroll.
Oh yeah, I never used that's probably a problem for me. I didn't use the hold down to actually click the specific one. That is a better way to do it.
Yeah, or you can also just use the numbers. Like if you need to switch to a couple of the normal shotgun, I would almost always hit by flicking up and hitting 2, because generally was it 3? Maybe 2. Shotgun I usually
I assume it was just 2. I thought the assault rifles on
3 generally, but I think the super shotgun defaults at 5 in Doom Eternal. So I don't know, I messed with my control scheme quite a bit, but chainsaw I would have on my mouse thumb button. So that would be something that I could just activate the chainsaw anytime and use that there. And my flamethrower I would have at Q, so I could just quickly go from W to Q and easily just fire a flame belch at someone. And
I think one simple change that I would like a lot better is if the chainsaw only had 2 charges all the time. It just could always kill the 2-tier monsters, like the ones that are just a little bit stronger.
Yeah,
it would just give you more options. Maybe just have a longer cooldown a bit, but I would probably prefer it that way. That's one thing I didn't like. Is the fact there's just all the monster I tried to get is you can't kill with 1.
Well, but that and the 2-tier monsters, you don't see those that often in the game.
But it gives you a couple more. It's just if you put it at tier 3, or maybe you could just change it and add some more monsters that you could kill with just the 1 charge.
But that's the thing; those are always walking. Every single enemy has the trash zombies that just do no damage to you.
Well, that's actually a reason I have a problem with it. It feels a little bit contrived. The fact is, they do put those everywhere, and then you have to just dash around and get that one.
But it depends on how many charges of fuel does your chainsaw have, because you could also use 5 charges on killing a big enemy if you want. There is
just 3
in Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I thought it was just 3.
I think you can get additional charges to your chainsaw. I remember.
Just skill issues, Serranos.
But
I don't remember.
Hold on, wait. I might be confusing it with another game though that has a 5-tier system for an execution. Sorry, I play a lot of video games.
It has 2 executions because the sword is really fun to use. The sword just they're dead.
Yeah, and you do not have the sword in the Ancient Gods DLC. You get the hammer that does some different stuff. Yeah, and those were those DLCs were pretty hard, or at least the first one was. The second one's a lot easier, but man, Ancient Gods Part 1 on Ultra Violence even is
really... I didn't actually... I beat it on Ultra Violence, but I didn't bother playing the Ancient Gods because I just didn't enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's good DLC. It's just hard. You got to really you got to dig deep and learn.
Yeah, once I killed the final boss the first time, I was like, yeah, I'm done playing the game. I think it was. What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
It's like, yeah, okay.
I don't know what you're
thanks,
gonna
buddy.
say.
I actually might have to get going. I told my wife
Yeah.
that I'd be in bed by midnight, and it's
Yeah,
midnight.
I don't think you should.
It is
I don't
midnight
think
for
you
you.
should renege on that.
Well, I mean, so sometimes the streams go late, and I think if I did, I would just
You
sleep on the
just sneak into bed, really.
No, I'd sleep on the couch here. I still have a puppy.
Lead
The
with the
last
dog.
thing I
That's what
was
you do.
gonna-
You lead with
The
the
last
dog.
thing about Eternal.
Well, no, see, the problem is I know there's no way I'm getting in that room without waking her up. It's not happening. The reason is because Rocky will follow me, and Jojo, who's our other puppy, is going to wake up and start barking at me or Rocky or both.
Little column A, little
You
column
look
B.
so happy there, dude.
Yeah, he's such a sweet little boy.
Oh, such a puppy.
The last thing I would say about Doom Eternals, I did not find the Marauder fun. It was just kind of there.
See, I eventually really started liking the Marauder fights, especially in Ancient Gods. They throw in like 3 Marauders and then a bunch of different enemies. So you really need to kind of learn to be like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, all it was is the fact, like, okay, if a Marauder exists, I'm gonna take it out first. I'm gonna go for the guy. I'm gonna do the combo.
What you have to do is just keep them in mid range. That's all you really need to do with Marauders.
Yeah, it's a skill issue.
Wait, that's
Serrano,
also
so
what
you
I.
just suck.
That's another thing I don't like. Is it's annoying because, oh, I want you just play this specific way, so you stand there. It's like I'm just gonna kill it first because it's.
Nah,
way
but I
easier
mean,
to do
there's a
something.
million ways to kite an enemy so that it stays within the mid range of you, and then like putting other enemies between you and it, so you've got cover, and then like you're doing damage to other things while still throwing a couple pot shots at the Marauder every now and then. It's I don't know, man. Like you can learn the way you can learn a way that you can play it in a way that's more expressive, I guess would probably be the way. And I mean, or at least that's what I found like really connected me to that game, that because you actually do have a lot of options and there are a lot of different ways that you can combine the different weapons for interesting effects. And people often will say, hey, at Doom Eternal, there's always one strategy for every single enemy. And it's like, no, there's usually one strategy that works the best if you're just single target fighting that enemy. But when you're fighting multiple enemies in Doom Eternal, which you are the vast majority of the time, there's really a lot of interesting things you can do for crowd control and stuff. And
you can also bring out the rocket launcher. That's always just good.
Exactly. Yes, but you can also
before we get to
ice grenades too. The ice grenades are key.
Before we get to an outro, did you ever play the old Serious Sam games?
Yeah, I've never been a fan of them.
Really?
Serious
They
Sam,
like skate around with just crazy weapons. Not your
I
thing.
think it's like I don't know. It's the way you lead enemies in that game never really felt fun to me. I think also because the type of enemy I hate the most in games, and they exist in many games I love. I'm not saying that it automatically makes the game bad, but in Serious Sam, the type of enemy that I hate the most is like the most common thing you're interacting with in all of the early games of everyone I've played. And they're enemies that just run up to you and explode.
The suicide bomber guys, the headless ones. They're
hate
hilarious.
That enemy type in all games, and it's just, I mean, like they're funny. Don't get me wrong. Like,
I mean, that game was more of a comedy anyway. I was just curious because the Doom Eternal sounds very like you're just running around doing that anyway. So
well, but the thing is, you're not like running around big, wide open areas where like you've got enemies chasing you.
Space,
like an arena where you've got a lot of mobility options in it, and
the arenas in Eternal are obviously way more interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
And but yeah, I mean, I'm not hating on it. It's just I never clicked with it. Quake was always my favorite first person.
That was your go-to.
Still to this day. I'm actually playing through Quake 2 on my laptop over there because the remastered version came out. And I usually will at least once a year play through Quake. And I've only played through Quake 2 once recently, and it was when I was making a Quake video that's kind of similar to the Metroid one. That one's on Geeks and Gamers, but you can get it on my channel's main page. I have a little playlist that has the Geeks and Gamers ones. There was one for Quake and one for God of War. And Quake I usually will play through once a year, and I played Quake 2 for that video, but because the Quake 2 remaster came out, I was like, I'm going to play Quake 2 this year.
There you go.
But it's a game that I'll sit down and play like a mission and then go off and do something else. I make it slow and it takes place over the period of a few weeks, but because Quake levels generally pretty short, you can get through them pretty quick, and it doesn't take too much time off your day. So it's easy to chip away at one.
Nice. All right, we got your YouTube link in the chat. Anywhere else people can find you, or
I'm Cyborg Mark on Twitter. That's usually where people have trouble finding me, because Mark the Cyborg is an account that hasn't tweeted since like 2011.
it doesn't even have a profile pic. I almost tagged it today.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have to check his mentions because they're all for me. Like no one's talking to this guy because he hasn't tweeted in forever. He has no community on Twitter, but he has my name, and people want to talk to me sometimes. So I got to go there and be like, yeah, hey, my actual account.
Actually, this is me. I'm Cyborg Mark.
Yeah.
You just come weekly. It's like, are you a scammer?
I mean, like, I'm not. No, I have the blue check mark of haha, this idiot paid for Twitter thing. But
same.
Mark of the beast.
I like the features I get from it, and yeah, pay for a year, and it's actually not too expensive, really.
Yeah, it's just a
and you get replies, and you can like message people who mark their account as only verified messages.
Yeah,
like,
I have not done that. I believe I'm. I believe mine's verified. Sorry, mine's is not verified. Sorry, I mean mine's open, not verified only.
Yeah, I leave it open so I get all the bots because I like to giggle at them.
Oh yeah, I mean they usually just go to message requests. I find so. Every so often I'll check on them and be like, oh man, there's a new crypto coin that I need to get in on right this second, and then buy an NFT.
Make up to $100 an hour. What's this one?
Yeah, man. What is drop shipping? Tell me more.
So what's next for you then?
I don't know. I'll probably be streaming something tomorrow. Not sure if I'm going to stream more Cyberpunk or just switch over to something else, or I don't know, but yeah, you'll probably be able to. Oh,
do you
actually,
have a regular time that you stream, Mark?
No, pretty much just every day that I have stream time. That I'll generally start around like 3 p.m. Eastern, so maybe 1 p.m. for you guys, and usually go to around my dinner time, which roughly about 7. So my time, so 5 your time, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. If a game comes out and I get really pulled into it, I'll stream for like 9 hours. But tomorrow I'll be on Metal Commander's channel talking about the Expendables 4.
Ooh,
nice.
Not a good movie.
Was it at least entertaining though? Because none of the Expendables have been good, but they've been funny.
I would argue that the Expendables 2 is good.
Okay,
actually not
2.
bad.
Yeah, I saw Draker talk about it. He didn't like it either.
Yeah, it's not good. It's really bad. It's the direct-to-video Expendables sequel. But if you want to hear me and Mahler and Metal Commander and Frankie, I think is also going to be there talking about.
I'll check you guys out.
That'll be on Metal Commander's channel.
On Metal Commander's, got it.
Yeah, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is I think 9 p.m. German time.
Thank you for the German time. Is Metal Commander German?
Yeah, so yeah. I was like, he gave me his timing. I was like, okay, wait, what time of year is it?
A lot of people don't even know, but
You're like, can you just make the YouTube link so that it'll like pop into my local time, please?
Yeah, yeah. Mahler is Welsh. Yeah, he's from Wales, and Metal Commander is one of his real life friends who lives in Germany. The Europeans are crazy.
And Freeze Australia, the most international podcast, really.
Yeah.
The only thing he's missing is somebody from like Iran.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Rags is American too, so that's there's an American there.
It is kind of funny though, the fact that they have so many different time zones.
Yeah, I mean, they make it work. It's a good show.
Yeah, I love watching UFAP.
All right. Well, anyway,
you've got the link, so you're welcome anytime. You just pop in the back. I'll pull you into the front.
Cool.
And you just have a wonderful rest of your day. Go enjoy some escapism.
It was really great talking to you.
Okay, take it easy, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Blaine, and good to meet you, Serranos.
Yeah.
And later, Cat, you've been wonderful. How do I leave here? Actually,
you close the tab.
Okay, it's there. Top right. There we go. Leave. Bye, everybody.
Bye. I like how it was.
Yeah, you can just close the tab. Just whatever.
Yeah, I always just close the tab. I don't even know if there is a leave for me.
Yeah, that's why I never clicked the leave.
Very, very fun. Good chat.
Yeah, I love Mark.
Good to see.
Yeah, like I said, I always enjoy seeing him on streams because he just has a good vibe he brings to it. Him and Metal, I put him in Metal in a pretty similar place. They do a good job being there, filling out a stream. Because they always bounce well off of other people, other guests.
I'm more interested than ever on his anime history now. With Ninja Scroll being one of your first at, what do you say, 95, 96? And I think
93, I think.
he is
I actually have no clue how old he is,
5 years
but
older than me, which would
Yeah.
put him at like 8 or 10, I think, when he watched it. So like that's about when I watched Guyver. So getting very similar
I'll be
in
back
that
in 1
take.
second.
I'd have to go in and actually see if we can get more anime specific with the next chat. For this one, I just wanted to focus more on like him and what he's up to and his things. So I thought it was fun. I had a good time. I hope everybody else had a good time as well. We also finally got Moemon working. Can't believe this thing defaults to not working. Why would it ever
I think
do
it's
that?
just for you, Blaine.
I downloaded this direct from the Melon website, and it was like, oh, we start on this instead.
I
You
choose to
mentioned
blame
making a film
Blaine.
in 05 and being in film school. Jamie, do the calculations. No, I'm pretty
Hello,
sure.
Brandon. Did you
I'll
like
watch-
Doom Eternal, or is somebody else here to shit on my Doom Eternal opinion?
No, Brandon's mic.
He has to get his mic
connecting.
right.
Yeah,
He
he's
can
got to
do
turn
that.
on his engine.
Did you watch the video I posted on Discord today about the scooters?
I did not know.
If you didn't, you should watch it right now. I'll bring
Okay.
that baby up.
Good Lord, that's twice this thing has switched it from the headphones that it's supposed to be to the headphones that it should be. It keeps thinking that my wireless headset microphone is indeed the one that it wants, and it's annoying me.
Yeah.
Let's see. There we go. All right, now that should be good. Why, hello there, gentlemen.
Better.
Hello. Oh, yawn.
Are you having a good evening right before you go to bed, Brandon?
I'm placing my grocery for the week order sooner, a day earlier than normal. I took this whole week off, and I was thinking, I'm just going to be able to kick back, relax, watch some anime, get caught up on the stuff that I need. But no, I have been running around every single day doing all sorts of other things with a lot of stuff with our storage unit business that's been picking up quite a bit. So it's keeping me busy as hell.
I don't think that's a
Nice.
bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. I'll take it. If I'm going to be busy with something, it might as well be that. But
May
at the
as well
same
be something that
time,
makes money.
at the same time, I was like, wait a minute, I want to relax. Why can't I relax? And my back's messed up. I'm starting to get a little bit of tingling between my right shoulder blade and my neck, and now I've got some strain on my left shoulder blade. So
Dang.
yeah, that's the shits of getting older. This type of stuff just doesn't. Yeah, it is what it is. I'll deal with it. I'll be okay. But yeah, it's been a busy week, and I must say I've finished almost all the anime from the season. I'm still a bit behind on Rurouni Kenshin, so I need to get up to it so I can go through Core 2 for next season. And same with Dark Gatherings. I've been behind on it.
I've just started my finished binge on Dark Gathering. It's so good.
Yes,
yeah,
it is
because I'm
really
not going to
good.
be able to finish the Zom 100. I'm going to finish Dark Gathering first, actually.
Yeah, finish Dark Gathering, and then I'll, Rurouni Kenshin, Dark Gathering. I did finish the first core of Helk, and it's continuing straight on. So, Dark Gathering, and Rurouni Kenshin are just continuing. But I must say I was. Let's see, Blaine. Okay, Blaine, I want to ask you. I don't spoil
Sure.
too much, but what did you think of Level 1 Demon Lord and One Room Hero? Because I saw that you binged it.
Well, I haven't finished it yet.
What episode are you up to?
10, I think.
You'll have to tell me what you.
I'm
you
at the
think of it.
one. I'll pop a spoiler up just in case, but I'm at the one where he has just like flown up to the Republic while Fred and Leo were fighting. and he
Okay.
just landed. That's the very first, or that's the one that I'm at currently.
Yeah, I think you'll like the ending, and I really hope that we get more of this because there's more story there. But if we don't, I'm okay with how it ended. So we'll talk about that this Saturday because this Saturday is going to be this season discussion and building the list discussion. And actually,
Okay.
I've just started. Where the hell is it? Where is it? There's one show that did start today. Actually, I believe it was.
Yeah, I saw a couple listings.
Oh shit! What was it? I haven't put it on here because I don't have my list created. I'm gonna do that right now while I'm thinking about it. Get the 2023 fall list actually started here. So fall 2023.
The age gap show started today. That's true. The whatever and her dog, and someone on Twitter was like, if we watch it, we're supporting it. Should I watch it? I'm like, supporting
What show?
It's about something in her dog. Let me pull it up.
It sounds nasty.
Is it the
but,
one where the dog is, a human?
Yeah, it's not a real. It's like a
It's a man.
bodyguard. It's not like a dog
No.
dog.
Oh, you mean the other one where the dog gets turned into a person?
No, it's not a dog
Yeah.
person. I don't think. I think it's just like a bodyguard.
Oh, where the hell can't I find it there? Oh, here it is. My daughter left the nest and returned an S-rank adventure. That one started today, and I'm really liking it so far. I can relate a lot to the main character in some ways. And got a kid. She's in this age bracket, so it's definitely on my watch list. And
Yeah, it's one I'm anticipating for next season.
yeah, it's a good. I think it's going to be a good one. It's not gonna. I don't think it's going to blow up the earth type thing, but I think it's going to be.
I'm
It's
expecting
going to
at
be
least
above
6.
average.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be above average. So
This one, a girl and her guard dog. This
a
one,
girl and her guard dog.
she's like a high schooler,
Oh, you mean the pedo one?
and he's older.
No.
Yeah, she's 15, he's 24, wasn't it?
Isaku wants to live a normal life, but as the granddaughter of a Yakuza boss, that's a pretty tall order. For years, it's been difficult for Isaku to make friends and find love, so she decides to enroll in a high school far from her hometown in hopes of a fresh start. But her plans take an unexpected turn when a worried member of the Yakuza, Keiya, enrolls in the same school to protect her.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And apparently the age gap is problematic.
Honestly,
What?
I don't
No.
disagree if the age is 15 and 24. They might get me on their side for that one.
No, I don't know. This one doesn't sound like one of mine, but I'm looking at what's here. and
I'm not about
there's-
it. Like, if you're 18 and 28, sure, but like, yeah, 15 and 24, that just
It's the same age.
It's the
difference,
same
but it's
difference, and if this was 100 years ago, maybe, but it's today.
Yeah,
Like-
15's just a year or two too young, even for their standards. So
What, Stu, do you
Yeah.
support this underage relationship of a 25-year-old man with a 15-year-old?
Like,
typically, no.
That's what I thought, Stu. I guess he does support you. He didn't say no.
But
Stu
anyways,
didn't
it's
come on here to
gonna
defend his honor. Oh, yeah, you go.
it's gonna be fun putting together the watch list for this season. Looks like there's even more. A second. Or
There's always stuff.
a standalone Complex 2045 movie for Ghost in the Shell. I was not aware of that.
Ugh.
Yeah.
SAC 2045 is so boring.
Oh, and they're doing an OVA of My Hero Academia UA Battle Heroes. Oh, that'll be good.
I have no idea what that is.
I wouldn't say that off the bat without.
That's My
Oh,
Hero.
that'll be
Most-
good. Will
Most
it?
stuff from them is fine. So,
Okay.
although we already know there are certain.
Is it
shows
like
that
one
are-
of their? Is it like one of their movies, or is it not?
It's an OVA. It's an OVA. I know that they've had. I've got the three.
Saying the
book-
movies have had pretty good production value.
Yeah, the movies are really good. The OVAs they've done have been pretty good, and I know that with in the manga, they've had some offshoot series like let's see, which one do I have? I have
The Vigilantes or whatever.
there was Vigilantes, then I've got team up missions. I think they've only done 3 of those, so I've got all 3. But the way it looks, the first volume of it has Izuku Midoriya, and the first volume of the regular manga has Izuku, and when you line them up, they line up really well. So they've done a good job with the spines of the
They
books.
haven't done any kind of Vigilantes anime stuff, have they?
Not yet, no.
No.
Well, they
I haven't
had
seen any
that
of
was
these.
the second half of the thing where he leaves school for a while, but I still need to watch that. And
Well,
I
yeah, that's not what I'm talking about, though. Yeah.
I need to buzz through the Eminence and Shadow so I can see if the second season is gonna be worth a damn or not.
God, I love that show, but if you get like 4 episodes in and it bores you or you're annoyed by it, just drop it, because it keeps going harder in the same joke. So
Oh, yeah,
if
it's
you're-
And I'm
much-
okay with that.
yeah.
I'm 10 episodes into the first season.
Oh yeah, then you're yeah, you're right there.
I just
Okay.
need to watch the rest of the first season so I can watch the second season.
Perfect.
And actually, I was on a bit of a kick last night, and I've got to Retro Crush. Dirt cheap. It's only $5 a month.
Yeah.
I've watched the first episode of Rose of Versailles and Space Adventure Cobra. And holy shit, they are so good. Oh, they're so good. They're old, and you can tell they're old, but they took great care with what they did even back then. So is Pop still floating around here? I'm not seeing him. Is he here? Pops, are you still there?
He might be. I think we may have like 10 more minutes before he normally
Normally crashes
pops
out.
off. Yeah.
This is the type of shows that I want to talk with him about, since he's covered pretty close to all the stuff from the 70s and from the very early 80s. So he said goodnight a bit ago. No, damn. I'll have to
Pay
reach out to him
attention
again.
chat. I was having a great
should
conversation
message
with
him on
Mark the
Discord.
Cyborg. Apologies if I can't stare at chat at the same time as I play a game and have a conversation.
Oh, you decided to play another.
And you have to listen to Serrano's talk, too. That's like 3 different things he has to pay
God,
attention to.
it's like he won't shut up. It's insane.
Playing a Pokemon adjacent type of game again.
Yep. We're running Moemon with Heart Gold. Just dropped.
Second Pokemon, technically.
And apparently it's going to have an update soon, too. So that'll be exciting.
All right, what's the base of the game, or what game is it based off of?
Pokemon
Heart Gold, Soul
Gold.
Silver.
Okay. All right, here's the question. Is it better to have applewood real wood smoked bacon or hickory real wood smoked bacon?
Doesn't matter.
It would literally just be whatever you like. I don't think there's that much difference, really.
It's bacon.
So the
can't go
reason
wrong.
that you use hickory, apple, cherry, pecan, any of those is because it's a hardwood, which means it's denser, which means you get a better long-lasting smoke off of it. The type of wood you use actually does not impart any kind of flavor to the food. So as long as
Really?
it's a nut or fruit wood, you're good to go.
It's interesting.
But everyone will, like, I always use cherry wood, but it's just a thing that I do.
Is
It
there any
really
difference
has
in
no-
how it burns at all? Is there no
No.
difference whatsoever?
Well, once it's been dried and everything, no, all the wood burns pretty similarly. I can also just
Interesting.
get a lot of cherry wood in this area, so it's pretty easy for me to. I've got a guy that has a tree felling business, and he'll just get cherry wood rounds, and I'll buy them from him. So
Nice.
it's just easy for me to get.
Oh yeah, rounds are like so easy. I love having like wood rounds. Because Uncle post business,
Oh,
post business. So there's always a bunch of them.
post business.
Yeah, he used to do it. He's just older now.
I think then we're gonna do
Do the applewood.
applewood. Yeah. That's a good call. I'll do applewood for this weekend. I'm actually doing my grocery shopping a day earlier than I normally do, but I'm gonna be off tomorrow.
Nice.
And my wife is off tomorrow from her main job. And we're like, you know what? We haven't gone to breakfast in a very long time. So I'm thinking, okay, why don't we do this? We'll go to breakfast after we take the kids to school. And then we'll pick up our groceries on the way home. And then I don't have to do any of that shit on Saturday.
There you go. And then you and I can talk all day on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brandon, can you get some gaming time in?
Well, I put a brand new Samsung 990 Pro 2 terabyte in my machine. So I've got a fresh install, and I do have my Skyrim.
It still crashes.
Oh no, I'm not having any issues with that. And,
Oh, good.
well, fortunately, I'm not having any crashes. But I've got my Skyrim installed. I think I'm gonna go back and play Valkyria Chronicles because I can't remember if it was in the Twitter group. Speaking of which, Serranos, do you follow me on Twitter? I don't remember.
No, I think the only people I have on Twitter, like from our group here, is Blaine and Leon.
You should follow me. I'll add you to the group, and I'll have to add Leon to the 101 Club DM group.
I think those are the only. Yeah, I can do that because I almost never use Twitter. I'll use Twitter for art when I just want to grab art.
No,
I'll follow you now.
Well, either somebody within the 101 group or someone on Twitter just at random. I had made mention about Girls und Panzer, and someone made mention of, Valkyria Chronicles is kind of semi-sorted like that, and it's an old school saving game.
There's some
it's
similarities.
got girls and tanks. It's got girls and tanks.
I would say Girls and Panzer has its own thing where it separates
it's
itself,
definitely different.
But
But the
in
thing
terms
is,
of age setting, yeah, in terms of like the warfare,
I've owned this game for like 6-7 years, something like that, but I've never played it. And it's the whole entire thing on Steam. And I've got it installed and I'm thinking, you know what? That sounds like a lot of fun. Just start, ooh. Now
This is what I use Twitter for, is AI generated lum. That's like my entire timeline now. I finally taught Twitter enough.
You need to tag you need to tag me, because that's like, that's
oh,
like,
you would love this channel, because this channel is so they do AI generation, and it's always like shampoo and Ranma stuff.
Oh, that's not Ranma. That's
Ranma, but
she's
she's wearing the dirty pair costume.
Oh, that's why I'm getting so confused. I'm like, that's the dirty pair.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks like a dirty pair outfit.
That's awesome. I must admit that is awesome.
Yeah, I'll tag you in that.
Is that like a casual Chun-Li
just start
outfit?
tagging me. Yeah, any of that shit, tag me, because I absolutely adore that, especially with Lum. So Lum is like, the waifu of waifus, the OG waifu.
Yeah, I like the goth girl today in the Discord.
Did you say goth or moth?
Goth.
I think we need to start doing some watch parties. I got quite a bit of stuff built up that I think would be fun to watch. So.
What kind of stuff are you thinking about?
Well, I've got Hellsing Ultimate, plus I've got Olive Abridged.
Never watched it.
What?
Yeah, I never watched Hellsing.
Oh, sacrilege!
I was gonna say, I thought you'd be happy about that. So it means like, oh yeah, I guess somebody I can guarantee to get to watch it.
Yeah, that's sacrilege. You haven't seen it, but yes, that's a good idea. Peter Binkman fan site. Toss it in the, if you would please, toss it in the 101 group. To see how interested everybody else would be to do a watch party for it, because I've got it all. I've got the Blu-ray of it. I've got it copied to the computer. I've got it re-encoded to where it's not super large files and everything, but it's absolutely gorgeous.
Jamie, you've never seen Kidda, have you?
Well, yeah. Usually, as long as your program's good when you encode it, it's gonna do good. It's gonna be fine.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got Handbrake down to a science. Plus, it helps that a top end video card, it helps do that shit. So.
Well, yeah. When it's a smaller file size, it just means it'll play better, because you can actually have issues playing the Blu-ray from a computer directly.
Well, yeah. If you're doing it directly, the bitrate on that's quite high. So
yeah, I can have a problem literally taking all that for the disc at once.
It helps. I've got a pretty good upload pipe, and as long as it doesn't crash, it's more than fine. But Discord has actually improved their playback. Clifton
Yeah, because
was
they have
doing a
good
test.
premium. Yeah.
Well, even without it, my bud Clifton, who has been doing my editing and helping me do some videos, he did a test on the channel just at 720/30, and that was the smoothest playback I've ever seen it do. Because normally, whenever I've done a playback on there, there's always a hitch every second somewhere.
You said
it's
Blaine
like,
wasn't reading chat.
yeah,
No, I'm reading chat now.
tits
Hey,
or
are you
tits
gonna-
Doesn't matter if
the
they're melons or raisins.
I was gonna say you're gonna read that out, right, Blaine? You're not gonna
Yeah.
just leave him hanging.
So yeah, lots of fun stuff going on, and just gotta maintain my sanity, and Saturday will be fun. And then
Also,
next week,
I gotta show you this skin. This is called the Sakaku. This is for the Mac 10 in CS:GO.
oh,
Sakaku.
Yeah, anime girl.
essentially a box that bullets come out of. Mac 10 SMG boasts a high rate of fire for Counter-Strike 2 with poor spread accuracy and high recoil. Of waifu, Mac
Yeah, I'm
10,
gonna buy
yeah.
this. I'm gonna buy the skin. It's like $3.
Oh, speaking of waifu, Spy Family's coming back here rather soon.
With a season
yeah.
and a movie.
Yes, the movie is going to be so freaking cool. I'm
dog
hoping that we
whistle
get a
movie,
release
it's
of
gonna
it
be
sooner
good.
rather than later. I hope we get a release.
I will probably view it as early as possible, just because I don't want to wait for it.
Yeah.
When you go to Japan.
Nah, I won't be able to. I won't have time for that. That would be fun though.
Have you
see a
have
movie
you watched
in
a
Japan.
movie in Japan? Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, I
you done that?
haven't.
Huh.
Cause it's they don't have like auto subtitles when you go to a theater, and I don't speak
No.
that much Japanese. And it would be weird to see like, I don't know, Fast and the Furious in Japanese. I feel like that'd be a weird experience.
No, you'd watch an anime movie. Why would you watch? You go to Japan to watch Fast and the Furious. What a complete
I would totally
waste.
watch Fast and Furious in Japanese.
That's terrible.
There we
Terrible.
go.
Terrible. Friggin' Tokyo Drift was
I
the
said there we
reason that
go.
I
Well-
got into that series.
Oh yeah, well, the only movie I recognize is the first one. Anything past that is trash.
You're the most wrong you've ever been on any take you've ever given.
No, I've
The
seen
third movie is the best movie.
The third movie is absolute junk. It's dick cheese.
Tokyo-
It's nasty stuff.
What? Tokyo Drift. Look, DR. Tokyo Drift is the bomb. It is the best of the live action. It has Keiichi Shichiro in it. What are you talking about?
No.
What's wrong with it?
Maybe it's because I haven't seen it. But anyways,
That's what I thought. Get out of here.
The first one I used to use as a home theater demonstration. The very last scene between Dom and what's his face. That was, if you wanted to see what your sister
Ryan.
could do, yeah, play the drag race scene between the two.
Nice. For sound systems, I get that. For TV quality, we always used to use House of Flying Daggers. And the scene specifically where they're throwing the little beans around the room at the drums, because that one is crazy.
That it is. That's a long time ago, back in the DVD era.
I love that movie.
I do too. I've got it somewhere.
Somewhere online.
I actually went and had to help my folks a few days ago.
Oh, is that
And
why
I
your
thought
back
I'd
hurts?
look at my my DVD cabinet because I thought there was some stuff that I had left there, and I found a few things that I had forgot that I had or purchased.
Mm-hmm.
Back when you were still 10 years old or something like that.
I mean, maybe. I don't think DVDs were around when I was 10, were they?
Well, all of these I purchased in the very early 2000s. So I've got the
No, I guess,
widescreen Paramount Collector's Edition.
97. Yeah, I guess that was right.
I've got the Bad News Bears. I fucking love that movie. I've got the Pioneer release of Akira.
Really?
the original remaster that they did. I've got it. I've got The Hunt for Red October. I've got the original release
Hunt on
of
DVD.
the original release of Demolition Man.
Oh,
DVD.
nice! I got Stu with a Demo Man reference the other day. We were laughing at him because he didn't know how to use the 3 shells, and I thought he was playing into the meme, the joke. I thought he was like part of it, but then he was like, "I can't believe I forgot this," and I was like, "No way!"
How do you use 3 shells though? Come on.
How do you use the 3 seashells? It doesn't make any sense, but you know, whatever.
What do you mean? You grab them and then clean. Like, how's that so hard?
It's a shell. It's gonna.
Yeah, 3 shells. 1, 2,
Gonna
3,
break,
and you're
though.
done.
Yeah, no.
How do you use it, Blaine? Give us an example.
I'm
Use it on your
not about
face.
to get demonetized.
Use it on
my
your face.
face?
Though.
Never.
Yeah, clean your face. 3 shells. It's clean, isn't
Oh,
it?
that's so bad. And
You still need to
then
watch Demolition Man? Yes, you do, kidda.
I completely forgot that Stanley Kubrick directed this film. I've got my original DVD release of Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus. Is that the ending of that movie is the only thing anybody knows about?
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I absolutely love it. And then, last but not least, I found my original DVD release from Columbia Pictures and Amblin of The Men in Black. The deluxe edition. It's got the second disc full
God,
of...
you took so long to say that. I was expecting something cooler than Men in Black. What?
Hey,
what
The
are
Men
we-
in Black was badass. I friggin' love that movie. It's so damn good. And even today, the DVD of this
The Men in
is
Black
fantastic.
cartoon show was better than the movie, I think.
No, the original movie was fantastic. Second movie was okay. The third movie was fun.
Did you ever watch the animated series? It was so good.
No, I haven't.
Ah,
Oh,
it's-
and then
it's so
I'm
good.
going to go on camera for this one because this one is unique. So, have you ever seen this?
It looks like a tin of poor tea.
It's a tin, and it was a special release for a very specific movie where a special man had to get his ass to Mars.
Really? You got a Total Recall like tin?
Yes, it is Total Recall.
Why is it in a tin?
This is how they released it. This was a special edition release back in... Oh, when the hell did this come out? Oh, it's been forever. This was an artisan release, and they no longer exist. But they had other special edition releases. I've got the super ridiculous Uber Terminator 2 release, where if you put in the day that Judgment Day happens in the title screen, it'll
Yeah.
unlock a super duper ridiculous final There Is No Other Movie release of the film. It's even different than the standard director's cut. But I've got it. That was another one that was really good for demonstrating a sound system. The opening scene with the battle with the machines. So I've got it. I've got Total Recall. But back then they had super special editions of Stargate, Dirty Dancing. Let's see,
Dirty
Drugstore
Dancing.
Cowboy, The Doors, and Basic Instinct.
Nice. Basic Instinct.
Yeah, well, little kitty goes a long ways.
Does.
Well, yeah.
Isn't
from
she
Studio
mad about
Canal.
that scene now? Or she's like, she
Oh,
gets
I
mad
think
like every
she's always
5
been-
years or something?
I think she's always been pissed about it, but you know, Holly weirdos and who the hell knows with them.
This is my collectible. I have 1 through 7 in a tire. It is the funniest thing because you just open it like a twisty top.
We're
It
talking
looks
about
like-
collectors. Talking about collecting stuff. I'm collecting skins, baby. I'm collecting skins over here.
Nobody cares about your damn CS:GO skins,
I
except
completely
for other people
forgot.
that are gonna pay you money for them.
I completely forgot that Total Recall was directed by Paul Verhoeven.
Paul Verhoeven.
If you remember correctly, he was the one that did RoboCop. That's why this movie is so damn
What do you
good.
mean more of a nerd? How is that a nerd? I like car shit. Get out of here, I'll shove you in a locker.
He's a, you know, he's an anime weeb, but then he's a car otaku. There you go.
It's true. Oh man, we're still getting closer. I think I'm gonna sign up with the American Rally Association because I need a logbook for my rally cage to be allowed in races.
You're gonna take your car out for rally racing?
Yep. Yeah, we have the Northwest Rally Association. But
really?
When you install a cage, it has to get inspected by a tech inspector, and the only association that has a tech inspector is going to be the American Rally Association. So that'll be down in Portland. I'll have to go down to get it inspected. Double nerd. NH, I'm gonna shove you in a locker. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna meet you and shove you in.
Nerds. Yeah, I'll take the title of nerd for this one.
Gordon will love that. Well, when Gordon comes into this country, we can go racing together.
I'll have to show off the rest of my DVD collection because I've got a few others that were collectible sets when they first came out that they haven't been made in a very long time, like the original DVD release of Indiana Jones, all three of the three movies on DVD, and only the three, not that fourth one, and
not that fifth one.
And most definitely not that fifth one.
Not the sixth one, because you know they're making a sixth.
God.
You know it's coming. Give it 4 years.
Well,
you
this
really
is
think this is after a Bond.
This is hashtag Duck Fisney we're talking about, and they wouldn't know how to. They don't know their head from their ass, and they don't care. They're all about the message. In this day and age.
The message.
Hollow Man, RoboCop, Basic Instinct. 3 good movies.
Yeah. All those 80s movies were just over the top on everything and so damn good. And even still to this day, RoboCop is in a lot of ways it's more poignant and more like what was going on now, what they were predicting back then. It's one of those things.
Omega Corp.
Well, not only that, but government being complete and total fuckwits.
I mean, I don't think they were really predicting anything. I'm pretty sure that's how it's always been.
Well, yeah.
I think since Jackson had to cane the Senate, they've been dealing with that. Okay.
1984 was a warning, not a playbook.
No, I still go with the Animal Farm.
Animal Farm? Yeah, that one's a good one too. Okay, I want to ask you this.
Okay.
My daughter, she's barely turned 14, but she's a freshman. She behaves more like a 15-year-old, but just because of the fact that that's the age bracket that they're going from 14 to 15. She asked if we could watch The Shining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
watch it. I just Sherpa'd someone through that movie last Halloween. She'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that should be okay. Yeah.
That movie has one scene in it where there's like a full frontal nude woman who you saw her like corpse previously, and outside of that one, like maybe look up that scene and decide if you think your daughter's ready for it, but outside of that one scene, the rest of the movie, she's gonna fall asleep. I don't know, man.
Stanley Kubrick is special.
Yeah, special ed.
Stanley Kubrick is not special ed. Who the hell said that?
I did. He's special ed.
Kubrick is not special ed. Kubrick is probably, out of all the directors...
You think a normal brain does Kubrick things?
That's
Have
what
you
makes
seen
him
Space
special.
Odyssey?
Yes, I own the original DVD release of it. Yes. I friggin' love Stanley Kubrick.
If you want to talk her through and just like teach her stuff about filmmaking, I think Shining could be pretty good.
Okay, then here's the second question. We listened to some 80s hip hop and rap from a little group called NWA called Fuck the Police.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I made mention of it on the Twatter, and someone said, "Yeah, you should watch the movie about that." And I'm like, "Okay, is that something that would be okay for her to watch at this age?"
Yeah. Especially if she listens to the songs, then I think if you're okay with the themes of the music, then you'll be okay with Straight Outta Compton.
Well, that's the thing. When it goes to old school hip hop, 80s hip hop, I'm more of a Run DMC type guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more that I lean towards. But I understand the cultural relevance of everything revolving around NWA and that time in Los Angeles.
Does your daughter own a BLM flag?
No.
It has
hell
nothing
no.
This is way before that.
Let's put it this way.
I'm more of a 50 Cent, Dre era guy. So it's a little before what I was paying attention to, but it is a very fun series. Or movie. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. I think that might be a good one to do. Then again, when it goes to the music and the movies, we're trying to keep them away from the hard stuff, the TVMA, the rated R stuff, mainly because they just don't need to see it. Even though she's in high school and probably hears worse shit than some of these older movies could dish out at a rated R level, I'm still very hesitant about some of it, even though she has seen Stand By Me.
And the main thing is I probably wouldn't let my child just watch it unsupervised.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't really have that much of a problem with it.
Yeah, and all of this, right? Like The Shining, Straight Outta Compton, they're all things you need to watch and then like talk through. I don't think any of it is just like, oh, you let them.
Oh yeah, I had to have a talk with her.
And I feel like you're that kind of guy already. So
I had to have a talk with her about the themes within the song "Fuck the Police," and when I explained to her what was going on at the time, I think it helped, but
the movie will definitely lay a lot of that out. It does very well at least putting the historical context in place. Like more of the interpersonal things, I'm not exactly sure because I love their stuff, but I wasn't like a hardcore NWA fan at the time. So but the cultural relevance is all definitely there.
Okay, I see.
You're still scared of watching The Shining?
Alex
Alex Moore says he is. I don't know. It's kind of goofy in a lot of scenes. Like I know that they just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and maybe a younger brain would get a little bit more like, oh, this is freaky as hell. Is my dad gonna kill me? Like, but I
don't think it's a bad thing to get scared, though. No,
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
fine,
it's just sort of.
She asked to watch it. I mean, come on. She got to deal with the consequences of her own actions, and she got to learn when she shouldn't make her own decisions.
I forgot how weird Kubrick can be when it goes to the scenes of.
For context, I just sent Brandon the nude bathtub scene from The Shining.
And you're leaving me out of that? Like, I don't know. That's kind of rude.
Yeah, that's some freaky fucked up shit right there.
All right, you want that too? There you go.
Well, I think the stream deserves to know.
No, the stream doesn't get to see this. Okay.
Yeah, that is something.
You can Google The Shining nude scene if you want to see a corpse that turns into a young woman that turns back into a corpse. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll be okay with that.
The classic, what is it, 80s Bush, back when before they trimmed the hedges, as it were.
No, that is not. That much I can tell you. That much I can tell you for sure. That's extremely kempt in comparison to what most of them were doing back in the 80s. So I can say that was not normal back then.
There was no
Merkin. No, not that style. Usually it's just the woman.
Clockwork Orange, Strangelove. Strangelove is good.
What's all right? Now I've got to get my memory working again. Stanley Kubrick movies.
Stan Lee.
Let's mark off all of those. Let's delete them from the drive.
Yep.
We're gonna
all right, here we go.
Our Google searches.
Yeah, hold on. Clear my history. Lucifer, you missed a chat with Mark the Cyborg, and now we're into Moemon with Brandon and
Lucifer was here
Serrano.
for some of that.
He did. He popped into some of it, but
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So, Stanley Kubrick, feature films. 1952, Fear and Desire. 55, Killer's Kiss. 56, The Killing. 57, Paths of Glory. 60, Spartacus. 62, Lolita. 64, Doctor Strangelove, or How I Stopped Worrying and Loved the Bomb.
one of the best movies.
Yes.
Never watched it.
That one's
Then-
good.
68, 2001 A Space Odyssey. He actually changed quite a bit compared to what Arthur C. Clarke wrote. But they collaborated on this, so... Yeah, Arthur C. Clarke co-wrote with it. And Dr. Strangelove was also co-written by Terry Southern and Peter George. Okay, now this is the one film
That
I
makes
will
sense.
never let her watch. Never. A Clockwork Orange.
Really?
Never.
What happens with Clockwork Orange? I don't
Once
know
she
anything
turns
about it.
18.
Yeah, I watched that when I was 17, and yeah.
Yeah, what happens in that plane?
It's a good one. It's a good movie.
Got to go for the bit of the old ultra-violence. While I'm listening to Beethoven, while drinking milk that comes out of a fake teat. And,
Would it be better if it was a real one?
Clockwork Orange was stupid as hell.
The Clockwork
Stu-
Orange is weird, but it's
Stu and
very poignant.
His
And it's funny,
Steak.
because the last 3 films he did was The Shining, Full Metal Jacket. I have a love-hate relationship with Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah.
And then Eyes Wide Shut. So,
Oh really?
yeah, that was his last one. But he went from 87 to 99 without doing anything.
Bible Black time.
Yeah. Yeah, Kubrick was an interesting fellow. But yeah, he died in 1999, so he's born in 28.
How's the film as an adaptation? I don't know. The film is insane. I don't know if that's what the book is like.
Yeah, Alex is probably more accurate than not regarding that. If you
They
want to go
killed
down
him
the
because
rabbit
of Eyes
hole.
Wide Shut.
Yeah, because what the subject matter within it is over the top Hollywood, and is more or less correct. So,
Are you sure?
I'm pretty positive about that. Yes,
How positive?
I'd put it at about 99%.
99% chance that Stanley Kubrick was murdered because of Eyes Wide Shut. All right, let's see.
Yes.
Fat Kubrick died before the films had been shown to the public, raised some eyebrows among the more skeptical and conspiratorially aligned, even though by 1999, Kubrick was 7 years old. The fact that Eyes Wide Shut had seemingly exposed the illicit sexual occurrences of secret upper-class organizations seemed to suggest that perhaps Kubrick's death had more to it than a mere heart attack. Some have suggested that Kubrick had in fact been murdered by way of a Masonic satanic poisoning. In line with the subjects of the film, Kubrick had suffered a myocardial infarction. Infarction?
He had a fart attack.
Yeah, he farted in his heart, I guess, in his sleep, which is said to be easy to induce through simple poisoning. The exposure of the secret organizations of the wealthy elite may have ruffled a few feathers, to say the least, though evidently with the news in recent years of the despicable behavior of Epstein, Maxwell, and most likely Prince Andrew too, there are almost certainly still active organizations that engage in illicit sex parties, though their satanic nature is yet to be confirmed. However, it ought to be stressed that if anyone has a need to keep something secret, then it would likely be the organizations depicted in Eyes Wide Shut. So too do these sects have the financial power to keep things hush, whether by paying off artists and journalists or engaging in strict confidentiality of its members. Many of the elite also have a vested interest in the film industry. Eyes Wide Shut was based, like many of Kubrick's works, on a piece of literature. This time was Arthur Schnitzler's 1926 novella Dream Story. However, film is by far a more popular medium than literature, so whoever had their hands on the working knowledge and understanding of Eyes Wide Shut knew that, given Kubrick's stature, the film was likely to be viewed by millions. So while it is understood that Kubrick's cause of death was a heart attack, several signs suggest that perhaps it was not as simple as reported. Although Kubrick had already completed the film and it was ultimately released to acclaim, so whoever may or may not have wanted to stop the film from being showed could have done more to prevent it, especially given their suspect power. All right, question. If these people are so mad at Kubrick that they're going to poison him because he made a film about their actions, why did they not poison him before he made the film?
Kubrick was always a bit of a loose cannon when it went to these things. I don't think that they would have risked something like that until they knew for sure what was actually going to be on celluloid. Once that was figured out, then they're like, yeah.
Who they?
No, whatever. Well, let's
Name
see.
one.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise murdered
Something.
Stanley Kubrick.
Maybe not him, but let's think about it. The various groups that all these people pal around in. Let's just say Hollywood in general.
No,
There's
a name.
a lot of things. There's a lot of things that they all tend to do together, and sometimes a little more together than we care to think of. But
This story was based on a book written in the 20s. Was that book written in the 20s also based on the same people who were committing these acts in the 80s?
the same type of people, yeah.
Same type or same people?
Well, Hollywood existed back then. That wouldn't surprise me that if it does go back to the original foundings of Hollywood and how some people were able to get jobs even back then. So I'd be willing to bet that it's a good possibility. And I'd still would say I'm still on the 99% that, yeah, Kubrick, I don't think Kubrick died of natural causes entirely. So
Yeah, there was
Sure,
definitely
he
a lot
just
of
didn't
drugs
take drugs at
involved.
70 and die?
I'm pretty sure.
Because, like, have you seen Space Odyssey?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I know you have to
Kubrick's
be pretty,
kind of a guy that would
out
do
there.
drugs, and drugs can lead to consequences.
Back then, yeah. But here's the thing. As I said, the last movie he did prior to that was Full Metal Jacket. That was in '87. If he hadn't done anything else, he hadn't hung around with any of these people, not doing these things, something about this brought him out of either a forced or self-imposed exile to take it up. And, people that were chosen for the movie, Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, married at the time, all that stuff. It's coincidences. There's just too many of them to just dismiss outright. So
Kubrick obtained the filming rights for Dream Story in the 1960s, considering it a perfect text for a film adaptation about sexual relations. He revived the project in the 1990s when he hired writer Frederick Raphael to help him
That's
with
funny.
the adaptation.
weren't
What's
able
funny?
to do. That's something that they wouldn't have been able to do in the '60s, but they could in the '90s.
Yeah.
Strange.
What else happened in the 90s that wasn't in the 60s? With
Clinton.
film. That you could
Let's
do.
see. The fall of the Soviet Union, the birth of the interwebs, Al Gore creating the interwebs, Clinton having his blue dress moment. Even though we had that, with JFK and Marilyn Monroe, that was kept under a much better cloak of secrecy because you could actually do that back then. Let's see. Mass communication was way better in the 90s than it was in the 60s. And movies...
People much more okay with highly sexually explicit things.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
That would explain why he felt it felt he was able to
Why
do
he
it then
sat
as
on it
opposed
for
to
so
doing it in
long
the
without
60s.
doing anything.
Although it's funny if he had the rights to that back in the 60s, but yet he made Lolita in the 60s, and I think Lolita is a way touchier subject than
I don't know.
than the
Hollywood's
other.
pretty okay with pedophiles. I don't think that's really touchy for them. All right, I guess they're doing the touching.
Well, what's interesting is there was a newer adaptation that was done of it that had Jeremy Irons.
Wait, a newer adaptation of Lolita?
Yes. Yes, there was.
1997?
Yep.
I love the beginning of the Wikipedia. It's a novel written in 1955 which addresses the controversial subject of hebephilia. God, I hate that the use of that word immediately makes me think whoever edited this wiki page is a pedophile.
And what I think
The
of
odds
is
are in their
Leon
favor.
the Professional. That's what I think of when you say that.
Yeah. The odds of them
God,
being
is
high.
that movie's so good.
Which
Leon
movie?
The Professional is so good.
Yeah, The Professional.
Oh, The
Leon.
Professional. Oh, yeah. That's another one that's...
Oh, but it gets such a bad rap. But you're like, but
Because
it
the
does,
main
but you're right.
character-
It's a damn good film. It really was a damn good movie.
I also
Because
just
of
love Jean
Hollywood's
Reno.
inclinations.
Exactly.
Yeah, 1962, Lolita by Kubrick. It has a musical from 1971, apparently, with
How do you turn
John
that
Barry.
into a musical?
I don't know. Somebody did.
Wow.
Somebody go and get it.
81, it was a stage play. 92, it was a Russian opera. Then 97, a film again.
Jeez. A
Derivative
red,
work.
white, and blue sorbet. That sounds pretty good.
Ooh. What would the white be? Lychee?
I have no idea. I guess it could be just regular vanilla with the red and white being a sorbet.
Are you looking at? Is it the Great Value one? I just googled it.
Yeah, I got a Wally World gift card
Nice.
that I need to use up. I'm like, yeah, I'll do my grocery shopping there. I don't normally shop there.
You know
I
what's
normally shop at Fred
randomly
Meyer.
super useful is the Wally World online. I get a lot of stuff that you would normally have to wait like 2 months for like Temu or a Alibaba to get you in like a week because the Walmart like online has it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I just did a search for Sprite. One of the first things that popped up was a Sprite 6-can mini fridge, portable 4-liter mini cooler, travel compact refrigerator
That's adorable.
for $30.
It's cherry, blue raspberry, and lime sorbet. So the white is
Ooh.
lime. Huh.
That'll be good.
You use Temu? No, I don't use Temu, but I say Temu because if I say like Alibaba or AliExpress, a lot of people don't remember what that was.
Alibaba.
I love Alibaba. Plus, you know, you've got a business, you just give them all your info and you can get whatever you need.
Don't trust China. China asshole. Yeah, I don't trust
you
China.
Just make an LLC, hide all your names and info. You'll be fine.
Let's see.
Joey's
so I need
calling
to get
you.
a thing of Sprite.
Yo, brother. Oh, you're talking to Lucifer.
I'll do a second one of these. We'll do a
Jack Ma
zero
was
sugar.
Alibaba? I think so.
Yeah, Jack Ma is Alibaba. He's lucky he's still alive because he's
Yeah.
he's kind of pissed off the
They're
Chi Coms a little
never
bit here
they're
and there.
never gonna remake Bloodborne.
He looks like a cartoon character that had like the anvil fall on their head. Like he's got such a wide and low head. Like hold on, I can fix him.
We can fix him. We can make him better. We can make him come back from being out there. But can they do this to him? They cannot make him a joy boy.
No, probably not.
All right, so
All
Diet
right, we're
Pepsi.
gonna fix them. All right, everybody ready? It's this easy. We go elliptical marquee, and just make sure we get all the face. Okay. And then we just fit him in a little bit, a little control, shrink. There we go.
Here you go, Jack Ma. You've been fixed.
There you go.
No,
Which one looks more normal?
Yeah, he does look. He looks like he was made for widescreen.
Like
He's made for ultra wide screen. Let's be real.
Which one is not Photoshop?
I don't know. I think he has some weird facial hair, so I'm gonna go with the one on the left.
There we
Here,
go.
I'll fill that in. Hold on.
Do some smart fill.
I'll fill it in even better. I'll just put him behind it. There we go. I can't tell which one isn't real. Looks like a character created from Hard Time. He exists in the wrong aspect ratio. All I did was make his face bigger, and all of a sudden it looks like, oh, that's a normal person. Like I cannot tell.
There we go.
Oh, this was made in the Spore Creature Creator.
Did you know there is a third leak of War Thunder? This time it was the. All right, let me find it.
Oh,
It was
is this the tank game? Or the...
AH-64D Apache longbow that got leaked this time to War Thunder.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
Official
hilarious.
military documents.
How does
Really?
War Thunder keep doing this?
It's because the people that play the games really like these machines.
They're like, it has to be completely accurate. Here is
Yeah.
the 10,000 page manual that I just got from my CO.
Oh shit! I forgot to get Popeyes.
Papa.
Gotta get that chicken from Popeyes.
Haven't had Popeye for dinner for quite a while, so
Same.
don't feel like making it. But I'm gonna do
Look,
some.
this is a house. This is an adorable little Nihon house. This naked bald guy. What is he doing here? I
He's
collect
naked.
Pokemon. Oh, I gotta get a Bellsprout and I get an Onyx? Heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
It would never leave the hangar.
Bum bum.
That is
bum,
why
bum,
they keep getting away with it. That's right.
Bum 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 bum. Okay, so here's the question.
Okay.
Should I do the banquet chicken pot pie for $1 each? Or should I do the Marie Callender's chicken pot pie for $3 each?
Ooh, I mean, that Marie Callender's is the way to go for pies, and the banquet is the way to go for the big mac and cheese thing. That's usually what my brain does. Because I don't do pie a lot, so I'll do the Marie anytime.
I gotta do. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
But I'm not trying to feed a family with my my pie purchases.
My pot pie.
Oh, actually, hold on. I got the. I also have to place an order that I forgot to do earlier today. I gotta get a bunch of concrete and supplies for the lawn grading that we're doing. Pouring a little sidewalk chunk.
Ah. All right. So chicken pot pie, creamy Parmesan chicken pot pie, cheesy chicken and bacon pot pie, or a turkey pot pie.
The Parmesan is. I think that would be tastier, but my brain also says it just means they added more salt to make it feel like it has Parmesan in it.
Let's see here. For these big boys, 15 ounce, 2 servings per pie, so 930 for the whole pie. For the O pie, A serving has 690 micrograms. It's 30%.
I'm gonna take the Opie.
Yes, Lucifer, I am pouring the concrete myself.
Oh, fun times.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's literally I think it's 15 square feet, 4 inches deep. We've already got the forms and the gravel in, so it's not anything hard at all. And I've already got all the hand tools from when we did a 17 by 10 pour for a hot tub and sauna pad, where we actually brought a truck in to dump it, and we screeded that one out ourselves too. So it'll be way easier than that thing. So
you're trying to live the high life, man.
The high life by saving money by doing it my damn self. That's the. I had a mentor. Yeah, I had a mentor that we installed a break room at the gun shop, and he did all of the wiring, all of the drywalling, all of the painting, all this stuff. And it was like, why aren't you paying somebody for this? And he's like, well, if I do the electrical, that's somebody I don't have to pay $300 an hour for. If I do the painting, that's 2 guys I don't have to pay $40 an hour for. If I, just kind of listed through what everything cost and all of the hourly that he was saving. And I was like, you know what? That is good. I've been gaining all these skills because I grew up poor and having to fix shit myself. So now, like, the one I go to all the time is like, I can trade out a toilet. If I pay someone to trade out a toilet, I'm paying them for $600 to do the work plus whatever the toilet costs, versus I just pop it out, put a wax ring in there, and I get it done.
Yeah, there's a lot of those things you can do yourself fairly easily, but we actually, well, since our storage units opened, we finally moved all of our stuff out of the unit that we were renting over to our own unit. I couldn't do it. I had to hire a moving crew to do it, and it was $600.
Ah.
Yeah, it was painful, but my back is thanking me for it because yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to do the Marie Callender's chicken pot pie, because they've got it on sale for $3 each versus $3.50 for their other ones. That's a 10-ouncer, but we can do 4 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe the one kid. Yeah, that should be good. No. See, that's the thing. They've got the banquet ones on sale for $1, but it's banquet.
Yeah.
And it's not bad, but it's a 7-ounce frozen meal for $1. In this day and age, you have to really wonder what's going in it.
Yeah, you kind of do.
So,
should I do the fast setting or the high strength concrete?
High
it's only
strength.
going to be for a footpath, but high strength, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to do some concrete work a few years ago on our place before we sold it, and even back then my lower back was fighting me every single step. I couldn't do things fast enough, so royal pain in the ass. Yeah, the Marie Callender one I do think is the better overall deal. That's actually not too bad, going from $2.98 for a 10-ounce pie to $3.48 for a 15-ounce pie.
Welcome to Shopping, the podcast.
Yeah, I've been shopping this whole time, picking up skins.
You are a skin shopper, aren't you?
There
Has
we
anyone
go,
seen
we'll do.
big holes in their grocery? We have, but only in. So we have a discount grocer called Grocery Outlet, and
Yes.
Grocery Outlet is great because they have the biggest wine selection, because they just get whatever leftover pallets are at every winery. So you go there and you just get tons of wine. It's great. They also have a decent cheese section. But the other week we went there and they literally had a sign that was like, hey, we've been having issues with our shipping. And so and you went in and you're like, yeah, there's entire like freezer sections and all these kind of things. But that was just more like a kind of across the board delivery stuff for like Safeways and QFCs. Targets, that kind of thing, been pretty consistent still, at least in this area.
Yeah, we actually just had a grocery outlet just open here.
Mm-hmm.
First time in like 20 years that we've had one. So,
oh, they're so good.
When we went to California last year, every place that we went had one in Oregon and going down the coast. So
they're the kind of thing that when people leave the area and they don't have one, they're like, now where do I go for like a $5 bottle of wine that's amazing? Like, what do I do?
That's easy. Don't drink wine. Because wine is nasty.
It's all just old juice to me, that's for sure. But they do have liquor now, so that's cool.
No, maybe in your state, but not our state.
Yeah, our state has... Wait, do you guys still have liquor stores in Idaho? What? No way!
They don't allow hard liquor to be sold in stores. You can do beer and you can do wine. That's it.
You don't have liquor stores?
No, they have liquor stores. We don't do liquor stores, no.
Oh.
We have liquor everywhere. We got rid of those like 5 years ago.
Wait, so you don't have any stores that have just alcohol, though?
Well, yeah, it's like a Total Wine would have just alcohol.
It's not state run. It's private.
Yeah, it's not state. It's all like, it's like going to a Costco, but for alcohol. And like every Safeway has a liquor section, all that kind of stuff. But like when I go to Texas is the worst, I think. Like Oklahoma is bad. In Oklahoma, you cannot sell food in the same place that you sell cold alcohol. Like it's so you have to go get like your alcohol and then you can go get like your garnishes and mixers somewhere else because like juice is considered a food. And then in Texas, like you can't buy alcohol on Sunday. Like it's freaking hilarious sometimes.
Well, there are
I just see various specialty shops and I'd be like, it'd be weird if there isn't a specialty alcohol.
There are certain counties in Texas that are dry.
Yeah.
Are there? What?
Yes, there are.
Where's my alert?
That still exists.
What alert did
All
I
right,
just get?
there we go.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Come on.
And that's the most I've spent on groceries in a long time.
I hate when I miss an alert and it also doesn't pop up in like any of the chats. It's like, come on.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love it.
I gotta be a pain. Now I gotta go to Stream Elements to figure out what it was.
Bada bing. Grocery shopping is done.
Nice.
Except for soda. The cost of soda at Walmart was bullshit.
Oh, I got a sub. Thank you, new subscriber.
I think it seems to me that soda will go on sale fairly often, just depending on the place.
Oh my gosh. Soda has been on like crazy sales. Like, not that you should drink soda, but like they've been on these like buy two get three free deals.
Yeah, I've seen
and I'll grant you that like each one is like $8 now, and
like
it's like
Safeway Albertsons, right?
So yeah, exactly. And they're like, oh, so you pay $16 and you get 5 cases? It's like I'm a kid again.
Yeah, it's like
I've thought about getting a soda stream.
Because I mean I have a soda right here. It's like I'll have like one every.
I
other
liked
day
my
or
soda
something.
stream, but there's a point at which you're like, you know, when you look at the math of like some of these like soda deals that you can get at like a Costco or when they put the big sales on, it's almost not worth getting the soda stream.
Yeah, it's like you could just get whenever they have a big sale, you can just get those cases of soda and it'll last you for like 3-4 months.
I wish.
How much? Okay, Brandon.
I wish.
That's you, Brandon. That's not a person who drinks in moderation.
Well, even if I only do 1 or 2 a day, if only.
One
I've got
or 2.
kids.
I don't ever do 2 a day.
Well, what size of drink are we talking about?
This is like the normal. This is a 12-ounce can, actually.
This 12-ounce can? Yeah, 1 to 2 a day is what I. If I had it readily available, that's
like
what I would do.
one per day at most.
I drink Red Bull. That's my vice.
Rock star for me.
Whenever I meet Blaine, he's not gonna let me see his house because there's just Red Bull everywhere outside the frame. Everywhere.
Red Bull. Red Bull. Red Bull.
Yeah. As soon as you get right here, it's just a wall of Red Bulls.
His house just smells like turpentine.
God, I love the taste of Red Bull.
Oh yeah. No, that's done. Let's see how bad my bank account got hit with the excess overage. Oh, that ain't too bad. That's not too bad.
So is it gonna get delivered for you, or are you gonna pick it up when it's ready?
I gotta pick it up. They don't deliver. Where I live, they wouldn't deliver.
I guess, yeah, that makes sense. That's why you're gonna do a big order anyways.
Yeah, well, it's not like we live that far out of the county or out of the city limits, but living on tribal land, they can get really touchy about things like that. So I can't get pizza delivery. You can't. The cable company doesn't have internet out here because they won't let them bury cabling.
Yeah, you're not particularly
It's not a
close to
waste,
like Boise, right?
Alex.
Well, I'm on the other side of the state, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I
literally
expected.
where I'm at is only a mile and a half inside tribal land. But because of that, there are certain things that you cannot get. Hence why my internet is so expensive.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That explains
just like
that.
silly little things like that.
Yeah, they're really weird about those things, and they haven't gotten any better about it over.
And that's my
past
political
20 years.
opinion is you got to make some changes to tribal land. It's stupid.
Yeah.
The current system is just so silly, and honestly, there's so many issues with it.
The
Oh
casinos
yeah,
are
it's always
cool.
been bad.
Honestly, I would just
Well,
be
that's
fine
about
just
it.
opening up gambling, or I think the restriction on gambling is kind of unnecessary.
Oh yeah, and the only reason we have restrictions on gambling is because of the reservations.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
we just turned on online gambling here in Washington, but you can only use the app that the tribe released.
Jeez.
Are you guys doing the toy clearances there yet? Not here that I'm aware of.
There you are, Serranos. All right.
Yeah, I added you on Twitter.
Oh man, I had my
Can't donate toys because of COVID.
true,
Oh
you
my
couldn't do
goodness! I
that.
think my state governor just got infected again, so we'll see if he lasts.
Did you hear the thing about
Jay
the
Inslee
Arizona
got it again.
governor giving
Yeah, Jay
the
Inslee got it again. I got like a tweet about it. I was like, I don't subscribe to you.
Well, you know what? That it couldn't have happened to a nicer piece of shit.
You can have
God, I
can have a
can't
bunch
stand
of
your
wetty
governor.
farts.
He's an
I don't
asshole.
care.
I can't stand him. My governor's a spineless douche noodle. Yours is the authoritarian dick cheese.
I mean, that's
asshole
something I would
variety.
probably want to do. That'd be a reason I'd move to Idaho so I can be a politician there. It's like, come on, this is one of the reddest states in the union. You just have spineless hacks who don't do anything.
And that's mostly in the Boise area. It used to,
Yeah.
well, that's how it is now.
I
It
mean,
used
the
to
thing
be
is,
kind
even
of a reverse, but,
Boise, as blue as it's gotten, it's still like not even 60%. Like you look at the
I
numbers there,
can't
it's
do
like
Boise
it's
anymore.
yeah, like you look at the numbers, it's like the people are actually quite liberal, but they still vote for the conservatives.
Not as much in the Boise area. Not like how it
Well, not
used to
deep,
be.
no, not deep in Boise, but it's a big
Yeah,
county. So
city
a lot of
the
the
city
other,
of Boise
a lot
is
of
a
other
complete and total
people
shit
like
show
there.
now.
Yeah, a lot of other people inside the county still like
Yeah.
balance it, and it's like barely. I think it actually voted for Trump. Like even the Boise County voted for Trump.
The overall county, that wouldn't surprise me, with the
Yeah.
exception of wherever the hell Ketchum is at. That area. Now, you want to talk about an overly congested shit show part of the
Is
state?
that like near Coeur d'Alene?
No, Ketchum
No,
is in
no.
the center. Oh, it's
It's
Sun
that
Valley.
one tiny little area, right? It's just that they had their own,
Yeah.
their one little county for themselves.
It pretty much is, and of course, it's ran like a complete bunch of clusterfucks that couldn't unfuck themselves if they needed to. So I stay. In order to get there, you have to go off the freeway, and you have to go. Let's see, off of 84.
It's in a weird place.
You have to go north, about 100 miles. Yeah, it's its own special brand of stupid, and I personally wouldn't care if it got cordoned off and burned to the ground in Minecraft. That's that's just my own thoughts on that. So, yeah. But overall, yeah, I would say about 2 years ago, about half of the elected weasels were complete and total limp-wristed, limp-dicked shit fucks. And that's being kind. Since then, it's shifted, and it's going to continue to shift on that, because there are a lot of people that used to always get elected. They basically are Democrats, but because of how Idaho is, the D word has become verboten over the past 30 years. Prior to that, we had Cecil Andrus as our governor. He was we also had Frank Church of all people. So we've had very prominent Democrats over the years.
Idaho is honestly a very strange state.
Yeah.
Politically.
Well, back in the 70s and 80s, it was really strange. But after Cecil Andrus finished, the next governor was Phil Batten. He was the first Republican governor we had in a long time. And since then, the state houses and most everything have been primarily dominated by them. And in a lot of these places, the people that are actually elected, there's a lot of them that have the R after the name, but in most other places they would be more like a Democrat in some respects.
Like Mike
the way that they act. Mostly it's in how they act. So, although that has changed a bit. The Senate was really bad for a while. But this last cycle, the governor lost about 6 people that he used to rely on to keep, the more hardcore right-wingers in line. They're gone. It's now... They were finally able to actually pass some stuff and force them to not be such a limp dick on things. But personally, I wouldn't bat an eye if our governor went and fucked off completely. Totally.
For myself, every time I see the one center, I always see like stuff come up in the news about it is Mike Crapo. He's like a total uniparty shill. He's like he feels that to a T.
If I out of our
like, why is there even a letter in front of your name, bro? Like, just own it.
Crapo is a better term.
Yeah,
I don't.
You can't tell me his name is Crapo. That guy's name's been Crapo since middle school.
It's Crapo. Yeah. My problem with him is he is too limp-wristed. But then again, so is Mike Simpson. He's the one for the district that I'm in, the one of the two. He's been there for 20 plus years. He's been there since the Gingrich Revolution. He's been there almost 30 years. And the last time that he opened his mouth about anything was to start breaching the dams for the fucking fish. Seriously, you breach the dams, you will hose many industries and many people's property because of that. And
just build them a fish ladder. Why is it so... Like, fish know how to use a fish ladder.
Exactly. Crapo's he's become an old stooge. Crapo's an idiot. Simpson's a douche. Fulcher, now he ran for governor, and he was close to beating... I can't remember who it was, but after Raul Labrador left the House, Fulcher got into his seat, and his seat is for the west side of the state all the way up to the northern panhandle part. Fulcher's a badass. I like him. He doesn't tolerate the bull, and he'll stand up for it. But I'm doubly happy. I'm not happy that we have our governor again because he's a shithead. I don't like our lieutenant governor because he was he's a unipartyist type fuckwad. He's an asshole too.
Yeah.
But we now have Raul Labrador as our attorney general instead of Lawrence Wasden. Wasden's been there for 20 plus years, and he was as limp-wristed and limp-dicked as anybody else out there.
I never realized just how important attorney generals are.
They're massively important.
Yeah.
That's why Soros dropped all the money he did on certain places. Hello, Georgia. Hello, New York. To fuck over certain people in various ways. But Wasden was weak. There were certain things that he should have been part of with all the other attorney generals suing various federal government agencies, etc. But he never would do any of that. We now have Raul Labrador, who is... And he's also been taking to task the governor and the legislature for some of the shenanigans and bullshit they've been doing, along with the Department of Education, the State Board of Education, because they've all done shit that they need to be called out on the carpet for, and if necessary, have a size 13 boot shoved up their ass for it. So... He's the only one within the executive-ish branch that I that I would back or that I would trust going any higher than AG. And I hope that he keeps kicking everyone's ass and telling them to go F themselves. So
I want to get Harbor Freight coupons right now.
I was just looking through other centers. I always forget that.
Not to break up this political discussion, but I'm just curious if I can get a discount at Harbor Freight.
See, I have a problem shopping
Harbor
at
Freight,
Harbor
quote
Freight.
unquote, sends me emails like every day, but
What's
there's
your,
nothing.
what's your
in
Harbor
them.
Freight problem?
They're cheap.
Yeah.
And I get that for some things you can get away with cheap, but let me put it this way. I bought a plumber's wrench, a nice wrench. It cost me $70, but you know what? That wrench hasn't broke. It works perfectly when I need it, and it's heavy enough to where if I need to beat the shit out of somebody with it, I could.
Right. Yeah. No, I am like I've got a whole set of Makita. Like I know like
Oh yeah.
tools you reuse, you buy good, but like sometimes you're gonna buy a tool, use it once, and then
call
never
it good.
touch it again, or maybe
Yeah.
you need a tool that you're like, I am going to use this in a way it's not supposed to be used, so I don't
Yeah.
care if it dies. Like you get the cheap Harbor Freight chisels, right? So that you can just randomly like cut into something that you should never use a good chisel for. So that's my go-to there for sure.
Yeah. They have their place.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's let's see, it's 11:30 for me, and I do have to get up to take the kids to school and go have breakfast with the wife, and then pick up the gross of the Rees.
Yeah, talk about all those things of family and whatever you have. Okay.
Oh,
Really
wait a
rub it
minute!
in.
Don't you have a World of Warcraft account? No, I have a life. The Sword of 1,000 Truths is on this thumb drive.
That's
Wait,
that's
how
such a
do I
good
hand it
episode.
over? You got to press Control C to copy it and Control V to paste it over.
Live to win till you die. It's such a good song.
That's probably still, out of all the South Park episodes, I think that one is still my favorite, even to this day.
Yeah, because they
it's-
actually use like gameplay. That's the best part.
Yes. Dude, I just took this biggest crap. Butters? What are you doing?
Man, bathroom, man.
Bathroom! Oh, such a big boy.
That's so gross.
Yeah, if you thought the gamer culture back then was bad and toxic, holy. Just a few
Everything
years
is
later, it was
bad.
way worse. Now they're trying to, cuck everybody and all that.
Oh, I never asked Jab. Jab's like first comment before the video even like stream started today was that Mark was the Psy cuck, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Why is
but
he a
he
cuckboard?
never brought it up again, so
He
we'll
never
know.
did. He showed up later and like said
He
some
said one
comments and then left,
comment.
and I'm like, oh, okay, bro. You're not gonna stand by your attack?
That's the third time I've seen Jab in like the past whatever months. This is the last time he was on stream, like 3 times.
Well. So yeah, that's what's going on here, and I'm hoping to watch more anime tomorrow, but I gotta get this damn shoulder to not be so
Shouldery.
twingy. It's hurting.
Yeah.
It's hurting me pretty good. So yeah, it is what it is.
Annoying.
So it's still a little early for me to go to bed, but I'm pretty worn down, so I am going to check out, and having the coof again couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Oh wait, there are a few other
I'm
people.
sure he'll pull through miraculously.
Well, he keeps wanting to take the poke. He runs risk of his own damnation with it, so that's his choice.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, no. Not that I want to wish ill will. I just wish that he would go the fuck away, so your state could get better.
Yeah, I don't want you to die. I just want you to leave. Like,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
all I want. I
If
want
he leaves,
term
he has to go
limits.
somewhere else.
Yeah, him and Gruesome Newsome, they should go be butt buddies together in some other country. That and whoever the hell's in charge of Oregon, they can go for a throuple.
Yeah, I know who that is. It used to
Yeah.
be Kate
Patty
Brown,
Murray is
and then
still
you
one of
got
my
replaced with
senators.
Somebody that wasn't Kate Brown.
Yeah, she's still one of your senators.
No way.
That bitch has been there forever.
I have never known a different senator.
Tina Kotek, that's who it was now.
Let me see. When did she?
That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad.
She's been in office since '93. I literally spent 3 years not knowing her as a senator.
That's a problem. That's a royal problem.
That's crazy.
And Gemini, you're right. Leave and never come back. Leave and never come back. Speaking of my movies, there's my Indiana Jones set right there.
Nice.
And of
Classic
course, I've got
set.
my Star Wars set, and I've got my Paramount, I think 75th anniversary edition Paramount set of the first 4 Star Trek films, including the director's cut of the first film, which I now also have in 4K. So the director's cut makes a huge difference for that first movie. Such a huge difference. All right, I'm going to take off. You have a wonderful night. Go play some Moe or Pokemon.
Pokemon.
You're poking them on.
I love The Simpsons.
Oh, shit. All right, guys. You have yourself a wonderful night and take care.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah, see ya.
Oh, and then there were 2. I'm probably going to call it.
Are you still with us? I was going to say, I don't know. It doesn't sound like it.
I have to actually finish this shopping so that this is ready for me to go pick it up in the morning. So that I can, because tomorrow is supposed to be sunny. So if I pour in the morning, I should be able to get it nice and solid by the time it rains on Sunday. So that'll be good. Is there a Friday stream? As far as I'm aware, that is.
Unless somebody takes
happening.
Blaine out.
Yeah, unless I get stuck in the concrete, where the concrete boots, I think we'll be okay. So yeah, definitely a stream tomorrow. We'll have Fun Time Friday. Everybody's gonna be on, and we'll have a good time. What a raucous episode of Blaine's Escape Corner. I'm glad you're all here to enjoy it. I had fun. I hope you had fun. Go have some fun. Watch some anime, and I'll catch you tomorrow night. All right. Kampai, everybody.
Peace.